Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome, welcome. Hang on, hang on, hang on. Where's the right one? That's what I'm looking for. There we go. Hello, welcome. Lost Initiative, Star Wars Week, or Episode 0, Part 2, I guess you want to call it, because we did last week, we had Episode 0, Part 1, with myself and Scott, and we did his prologue for his character, which was the... Now, it was supposed to be a Sullustan pilot, but now it's a human pilot. He's a Corellian human, for lore reasons and min-max reasons. It's a little mix of both. But tonight, we are going to be doing Maggie's character, which we'll get into in a bit. Hi, Maggie. How's it going?
It's going good.
Are you excited?
Yeah, just getting the social medias out there for you guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm totally excited. It's gonna be a
Sweet.
fun character to play.
Yeah, I'm excited to see your character in action. I'm ready to kind of just throw your character to the wolves and see how they fare right out the gate. Yeah, this is just a reminder for everybody who's watching. This is a episode 0, meaning for myself and for Maggie, just in case. There's going to be, there might be some bumps and just like, hey, clarification on this rule, clarification on that rule, and just kind of figuring things out. Shouldn't be too bad because me and Scott went through the bulk of it last week, and we'll see if it, but if anything comes up, we'll take care of that here. This should be about an hour or two. It's not going to be a typical 4-hour show. Unlike last week where Scott was dragging it on because his character was in a pure panic at the end of the episode as his ship spiraled out of space into a crash landing onto a planet, which was really fun. Maggie actually brought some lightsabers apparently as well, so she's going full Grievous. She's going full Grievous with 4 lightsabers. Do they pop out? Are they the ones that pop out? Or they pop out. Of course. That's awesome. I love it. All right, cool. I'm trying to think if there's anything we want to talk about before just diving into it. But I'm kind of excited to just get into it. If there's anything you want to cover, Maggie, before we dive in, we can just jump in. Are you good to go?
I'm good. I'm ready.
All right,
I'm
cool.
nervous, but I'm ready.
I'm excited. This should be fun. Let me just make sure I've got the proper window capture. And we'll just recapture this little dice screen. We should be good. All right, so for Star Wars, every session starts with the player rolling the Force dice. So you're gonna have to roll the Force dice to see what we start with. If I start with the dark side point, or if you start with a light side point or two, and then we'll go from there. And unlike Scott, I'm going to be trying to make them used as often as possible as they are supposed to.
So roll the destiny dice?
Yes, please do. Roll your destiny dice.
Oh,
Scott started me off with dark side last time around, so I'm hoping for the same this time.
With my luck, potentially you will get your wish.
Come on. Yes! Perfect. Okay. So, our story starts a little differently than Scott's story started. Our story starts about 40 years before we started with Scott's story, or 30 years before Scott's story starts. It's a time of civil unrest. The war between the Separatists and the Galactic Republic is raging in a way that has never really been seen throughout the universe before. The Separatists have been getting an upper hand, and the droid army has been making a lot of great advances. However, the Jedi Knights, and in conjunction with the clone soldiers, the clone army, has really been able to start making a pushback against the droid army. The camera pans down to a planet that is all too familiar to a lot of people. The camera pans down to Geonosis. Now, Geonosis, for most people, is the bug planet. The planet where a lot of the bug people kind of do their thing. Yeah, they have little pinchers. A lot of separatists kind of focus there. And as the camera kind of zooms into space and rips through the atmosphere and flies down through mountains and clouds, it stops short and pans down with one lone droid surrounded. Maggie, could you please describe what your droid looks like?
Yeah, so I am a bipedal droid, kind of like human in form-ish, but obviously I'm robotic. If you guys know what the Magna Guard look like, that's what I am. So it's pretty straightforward. I'm an IG 100 Magna Guard, if you're looking for the build. And in this resemblance, it's actually, I guess, identifies as a he. is about 1.95 meters tall, so pretty large. If you are American, that's like more along the lines of like 6.2 feet
Yeah, I
ish.
think it's somewhere around there.
Red eyes, and in this state at this point, um, looks fairly brand new. Like,
Hmm.
other than the few scratches here and there from the battle that has just ensued, but otherwise looks as though it like this is the fight that he's come to battle.
Right. So you stand there. Do you have a cloak on at all, or no? No,
I
like.
do not have
Okay.
a cloak, unfortunately. Didn't have enough credits to buy a cloak.
Well,
Actually, I don't remember if I did buy a cloak. I don't. I think I debated it, and I think it became like silly for me to buy it.
that's
But
fine.
I do have vibro vouge that I'm
Yes, the vibral
so
Voulge.
cool.
So we'll get to that here in a second. So as the camera pans down and the red planet of Geonosis is kind of off of the landscape, you stand on the outside of a rather large city. You were there to accomplish a task, something that General Grievous has dictated you to do. You were there to eliminate a couple of relatively well-known figureheads on this planet, while he himself is off dealing with his own personal things on a planet not too far away. He tended to keep to himself what he is doing. He doesn't like the information to get out. God forbid you get destroyed and they rip that information out of your memory. He's in a lot of trouble. The red sand whips through with a high gust of wind and kind of clings off of your metal, as it
I
is a
feel
very.
nothing.
You feel nothing. That's true. As you know, it's a rather dusty planet, but you find yourself in a situation you didn't expect to find yourself in. While you were on the outskirts, overlooking a rather vast, endless wasteland before you, you are surrounded by clone soldiers, and you just got a ping, something that you didn't really know you had programmed into you, but should the situation arise, you were immediately notified that General Grievous has died. He is no longer there. He has been eliminated for one reason or another, and his life being terminated sent off a signal to your head, letting you know that Grievous is no longer, at least for now, he is no longer around. How he died, where he died, you don't know, but you now know he's no longer there. And you were chased not too far outside this main city after you kind of got that ping in your mind by these clone soldiers. You took out countless of them as you ripped your way through the city to find yourself in the outskirts. But for one reason or another, about 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, about 7 clone soldiers now surround you completely. They are encircling you, all staying at about medium range from you with their rifles pointed at you. And one in particular, who has an orange shoulder mark on his armor, steps forward and demands through his helmet that you drop your weapon and surrender yourself, to be shut down and taken by the Republic. How do you respond? I imagine you're standing there with your weapon drawn. Feel free to describe.
Yeah, I'm standing there with my weapon drawn, the bottom of my vulva just kind of like almost lightly touching the ground, and
Is it
I'm
crackling?
yeah, and it's crackling in my hand, and my as I get this ping, my fists tighten the grasp on it, and I look over at him and I say, "I will never surrender. You must come to me, and I will fight for my life." And I rush forward to make my first
Like
attack.
dragging it up off the ground as the crackling
Yeah.
of the end of it tips kicks up sand. That's great. Let's go right to initiative. Perfect. So let me set things up a little bit here. I'm gonna make sure. So I don't know if you saw Maggie, but I have things set up with circles on this thing. Boom. They're kind of all like surrounding you in a way. Let's. Do you have a token? I don't think you do.
I don't think I have a token
I can.
now.
I think I can give you Nareem temporarily until we find you something that is
I'm sure there's a
appropriate for
robot.
you.
I'm sure I have a robot
Yeah,
icon.
that's something I
I
should
don't know
have
if I
thought
can
of ahead
bring
of
it
time.
into your campaign because I'm not a GM in your campaign, but I own like every
Yeah, I don't know if
token
I can
that
make you.
exists.
Let's. I don't even know how to drag in a
I
token. To be
may have
honest,
spent too much time in roll 20.
no such thing. No such thing at all. Is there a way to? How do I drag in a token? Actually, this is important for me
um,
to know.
so you'll have to click on my character sheet, and then there'll be an edit option, and you can select a token that you can assign it. But you'll have to bring that token into your map.
Oh, I see. I see. All right.
But yeah, you can assign me to a token.
Let's give you.
And you can take the. Oh wait, you take the token and you assign it to my character sheet.
I went to edit and I see drop file. Oh, assign token. Select a token on the tabletop to use as default. Can I click on that? No.
So find the icon or the token, and go to edit that token specifically. And then when you go to edit that token, you can assign that token to a specific person.
Gotcha.
And you can assign it
the
to
question.
link.
I guess my question is, where can I get a list of like tokens that I can drag onto the map?
Oh, you go to your in your game. You go to your resources. I don't have access to your stuff, so
That's fine. That is in under art library or
yeah,
settings.
You would go into
Free assets.
Your little art, and then you go to premium assets or your own or your upload ones. You can search.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna just yank
a million
something.
robots that show up for me.
Here, let's give you sci-fi
There's
wombat.
one that looks like a vacuum cleaner. It's really fun.
It's under Devon token pack. Which one? Oh, because I don't have premium. Scott has the premium, so
yeah, I have premium as well.
Okay, well, for now, I'm gonna give you, for fun. Yeah, let's just give you that. That's gonna be your token, and I'm gonna just use selected token. There you go.
Oh, wizard, Harry.
You're just. It came from the sci-fi thing. There you go. Okay, cool.
Does not look very sci-fi.
No, not at all.
You're like a weird Jedi or something.
Yeah, but that's just for now until we find you a proper token that we can use. So let's get rid of that, just so that you distinguish yourself. So, okay, cool. So what you want to do is you want to charge one of them, correct? All right, let's roll initiative so we have that at the ready.
Okay, yeah, let's do that. So where do I roll that? I think I need to.
Initiative is going to be your cool, which is going to be under combat, the combat tab, which is going to be below your strain and your wounds and all that stuff.
Cool. Let's go ahead and. Where the heck is the thingy? Oh, never mind. I think it's because all my stuff is closed.
Where? Do I need to click on something here? No. I'm not seeing the initiative tracker pop up, which is driving me nuts. Hence episode 0, guys. It's the little things like this that'll help it go smooth when episode 1 rolls around. Scott, where the hell is the I see you in chat. Scott, where is the initiative tab? Why is it not popping up when I roll?
Do you want me to roll, or do you want me to wait for your?
I'm gonna see what Scott says. He's in chat, and I just want to see where the.
And I don't have access to that character still. Like I can't select it or anything.
To Terra?
Yeah. So I can't like select it and then roll my initiative right now.
The token?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Tokens generally need to be selected. I selected a token, it didn't do anything. Okay. Oh, Scott's in here now. Here we go. Scott's gonna organize everything. How do I?
I'm not a GM in your game, so I can't do it.
Yeah, I think Scott has the. Oh, there's that. All right, Scott. Also, give her token. How do I give her token?
I told you how to do it.
Oh, I didn't hear you. I apologize.
Yeah, you just have to go in there and then you can assign it to.
Oh, I did. I signed it to your character sheet, I thought.
And then you have to sign it to me so that I can actually move it too.
This is confusing as hell.
I'm well rusted.
Yeah.
I'm not rusted yet.
Just add Scott to the conversation. Can you move it at all? Did Scott give it to you? Because I'm looking for your character. So there's you. Edit. There's your token. Nope, I see movement. Is that you or is that Scott?
Oh, now I can move it. Yeah. All right, now I can click on it, and now I can roll my cool.
There we go. Okay, okay.
Success.
Holy shit, this is crazy. Okay, cool. That's good. I see the little timepiece now. All right, so you rolled one success. Let me get rid of that. Let me get rid of my NPCs real quick. Perfect. All right, and let me roll their initiative now. So it's going to be their cool. One group, then the other group, and then the main guy. Okay, cool. All right, so the two NPCs are going to go first. One is going to... So you're going to run up to them, and you're going to get like a surprise attack. So who you were charging? The guy who's in charge? The guy with the orange shoulder?
Yeah, I'm going to...
Okay.
Well, I guess, is he the one that's up here?
He is the guy up top, correct.
All right. I don't know if how this can work, but I'd like to drag like the dust up in the air to kind of like distract these two.
Gotcha.
As I'm swinging for this guy.
Okay. So it's going to take one maneuver to get up to him and get within engaged combat, which is fine. I'll drag him into the engaged circle. And then you're going to get one attack. And basically you want to throw dirt in their faces so like when they go, they get like a black die thrown into it.
Something like that, yeah. Whatever I can to utilize the environment for some type of advantageous thing.
All right. So go ahead and make a. I'm gonna pop open the dice pool, and I'm going to set the difficulty for you. Shouldn't be bad. All right, and you're gonna go right ahead and immediately make your first attack on this guy. So you're welcome to do so right now.
Can I attack with my weapon?
Yes, you are engaged to combat, so you're in melee combat with this guy.
All right, I'm gonna roll my weapon attack. Let's see how it goes. Ooh, baby.
So you're going to do 2 successes with 3 advantages. The advantages can be applied to your next roll to add a blue dice if you'd like. And you're going to hit for, how much is your 7 plus 1, 8. Now the question is
I have vicious.
I was going to say, you're spec'd to crit like crazy, aren't you?
I have vicious, pierce, sunder.
Okay.
And I also have lethal blows times 2, which is add 10 per rank of lethal blows. So I actually have 3 ranks of lethal blows.
So with 2 successes, you crit, correct? Pretty sure that's how that works.
I'm not sure if that's a crit though.
Because I know triumphs are crit, but
might be a crit. Mark is saying that it is a crit.
Yeah, that's why because I think the way you spec'd specifically, you do a crit immediately. And these are clone troopers. You are a droid that is specifically built to take on Jedi. So the fact that you crit is not surprising. So
yeah, I'm piercing 2, vicious 4.
You're gonna go ahead and make a roll right out the gate for the critical injury table. And,
yeah, I get to roll that.
Yeah, it's a D100, and then you're gonna add what you have to that roll. So critical injuries is page 216. Just gonna get that open.
Okay, so it's critical number.
Yeah, if you roll 2 successes, you crit. Or
okay,
two advantages.
Roll offset, is that what I add? The number where I add the number?
So you can just roll a
I've
D100.
never done a crit before.
Roll a D100, and then we're gonna add, I think.
I'll roll my critical.
Previous critical, distracted, and then you're gonna add. I think it's like fucking. You add like 40 to it according to your character. I gotta keep your character sheet open so I have that available to me at all times. Oh, roll,
if I was a Jedi, I would be facing Magna Guard.
If I was a Jedi, I would. Yeah, no, Magna Guard are built specific. She adds 50. You are correct. So you rolled a total of an 18 plus 50. 68 is what you rolled on the table, and that is a scattered senses. Basically, the target removes all blue dice from skill checks until the end of the encounter. So they get no blue dice on any of their skill checks whatsoever. And that's an unusually low roll for you. Like, that's a below average roll. So you run up to this guy, kicking dust into the group of stormtroopers to your right. Without even hesitation, you're up in this guy's face faster than he even remotely expected it. How do you hit this guy and do a total of, I think, 8 damage to him straight up and critical him?
Is it only 8 damage? Oh yeah, because my weapon does 7.
Plus 1 for the extra success.
Yeah.
But you critical him completely.
Ignores 1 point of soak for each rank. And I have 2 ranks of pierce, so I ignore 2 people.
Yep, you ignore his soak and whatnot. So you're doing.
I also have sunder.
That's if you're hitting a weapon, I believe, and you
Oh, yeah,
aim
I'm not
to
hitting
like
weapon.
damage his weapon.
Yeah, I'm not hitting his weapon.
Yep.
Cool. I thought it did something else. That's why. Yeah. So, he comes in and he slings the dust and swings forward and lunges into this guy. It kind of makes him into like a kebab.
Yeah. So you plunge into his chest. The electricity jolts through his system. He keels over and screams, surprised that you're in his face within less than 2 or 3 seconds. He is still he's still kicking, still around, still alive, but he looks like he's already just barely clinging on for life. So that's going to be kind of your surprise attack, and then we're going to go into initiative, which is going to start with his response. He is going to attempt to swing back. He does drop his rifle and kind of clambers to himself, and is going to attempt to. He pulls a knife, a combat knife, and mumbling and swearing to himself is going for you, and just going to try and do what he can. However, he's going to have a bit of a hard time. But we'll see how
The
he
little
does.
combat knife. Aw.
Yeah,
That's
a
cute.
little combat knife that he had like strapped to his chest in a leather sheath. But we'll see how well that goes for him. That's your character sheet. I don't need that anymore. Thank you. And that went away. What the hell? Ooh, it's lagging. That's what's going on. There we go. Perfect. All right. Sorry, it like minimized itself, and then it was like clicking it, and it was popping up and not popping up at the same time. Okay. Actually, yeah, he's gonna try and knife you. It's not gonna go well, but he's gonna do his damnedest. So it's gonna be a brawl check for him. He's not going to be able to do too much with it, and he's going to have a massive difficulty trying to hit you because he's all fucked up, and he's not really trained for this. So let's see how well he ends up doing. Let's go back to the chat. I think I set that up correctly. He succeeds, and he hits you for a whopping... What's your soak?
My soak is. Let me scroll up really quick. 2.
2? All right. He hits you for a whopping 2 damage.
So I take 2 wounds.
He basically like flails wildly
But I
towards
can take
you.
strain instead, right?
Instead of damage? I don't think that's how... Instead of the... I don't think so. I think strain is if he only does... if he does strain damage. 31. Let me double check for you.
No.
Strain... mental damage. Yeah, no, he's just doing physical damage to you.
Okay.
Strain represents like a more of a mental damage, and you can take strain instead of taking disadvantage rolls. So if you take roll like disadvantage, instead of having that apply to the narration or your next turn, you can take mental strain to negate that, basically.
Cool.
All right, so he barely chips at your metal, and it's like a little bit of a spark goes off as he kind of like grinds up against your shoulder blade, doing basically no damage to you whatsoever. However, it does buy enough time for the next group to fire at you. 3 stormtroopers line up their blaster rifles and are going to attempt to do as much damage to you as they can. They see their particular companion getting attacked, and they're going to try and handle it themselves. So we're going to get 1 shot. This is going to count for all 3 of them because they are minions. Then the minion rule is they kind of act as one for the most part. And they are at medium range, meaning they're going to be running 2 difficulty dice to hit you. So let's fire off their blaster rifles. They're going to do... It's literally the same... They roll more successes, but at the same time, they roll better dice, but they have the same amount of successes. So the 3 of them line up their shots, and they scream, "Fire!" And all of a sudden, blaster shots from 3 fire. Most of them miss. A couple tink you here and there.
Ding, ding, ding.
But again, because you have a soak of 2, you're only taking 2 damage. And again, it doesn't really even set you back. Your foot even barely takes a step back from the force of the shots hitting you, going right to you. This guy is dying in front of you. He barely nicked you with a knife, and now he stands in front of you. Do you wish to try and finish him off?
Hell yeah, I am.
All right. You dice pool is all set. You may go ahead and take that swing.
Now, I did have 2 forwards or 3 forwards.
Yes, so you can turn that 3 of them. You can turn 2 into 1 blue dice, and 1 kind of just falls by the wayside. So you can add a blue dice to that.
Of course, I would like to do that.
All right. I have added it for you into your pool. You may.
Oh,
roll.
I already added it.
Oh, okay, that's fine. Nope, you're good. Go right ahead. Roll away.
Oh, I have 2 purple. Is that correct?
1
Am I
purple
dice
to hit
pool?
this guy.
There's
Take
2
out.
purple.
Take out the purple, and in your character sheet, I'm managing the dice pool for difficulty on a separate sheet that automatically gets fed.
Okay, so I should remove all the purple from
All
mine.
purples, yep.
Last time I rolled, I also was rolling with 2 purple. Just an FYI.
Oh,
It's
okay.
fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. This guy's probably not.
You can handicap me. It's cool. I'm the Magna Guard.
That's fine.
All right, here we go. We're rolling again.
Roll away with the blue.
Oh!
Shit, but you rolled.
No! My Volge is stuck in his armor.
You're just like trying to rip it
I'm
out.
like trying to get it out, and I'm just like stuck in there.
But you got a ton of advantages that you can roll over your next turn.
Yeah.
So his flailing, for one reason or another, as you rip your Volge out of his armor, it took you a little bit. And in fact, you like literally took your foot and kicked him off of the armor. But his random flailing in response was unexpected. And you're trained for one-on-one combat against, again, Jedi, these trained people. And it just was, it's like playing poker against somebody who's never played poker before. You just don't know what he's doing.
chess against somebody who's just doing crazy shit, and you're like, "What are you?"
Yeah, and that's exactly what it is.
Move.
So it takes a minute for you to process what's happening. You're kind of moving your Volge around and spinning it in such a way that even baffles him. But as you swing down, it just hits the tip, hits the sand, and sand kicks up, and there's a bunch of crackling noises. Electricity kind of feeds itself into the ground, hitting nothing. Now, NPC Group 2 is going to go, and these are going to be the ones that you kicked sand into, so they're going to get a little bit of a disadvantage on their roll. And they're going to go ahead and take a shot at you with their blaster rifles. Here we go. Please do damage.
Bring it down. Oh! 2 triumphs, but a fail? How does that work? Shit.
That is, God, okay, so the successes of the triumphs don't count because they were negated by the
They're not
failures.
the first one, right?
Right. So, but they still get the advantage that roll over, and like.
Can you imagine if you had that double triumph?
Oh God! If I had double triumph, I'd crit you. That's the painful part. Oh God! I would have been able to like knock out an arm or something right out the gate.
No, not
Damn
my
it,
arm.
man! That's a dang shame. That's a dang shame. Oh well. So they're gonna roll over. They're going to roll over those to their next roll. Or no, they're going to feed them to the boss. So they're going to feed the 2 advantages that come with triumphs to the boss to give him 1 blue dice on this swing to hopefully do some damage on you. What is this 2 HP thing? Vibro knife. Yeah, that's what it is. But he gets an extra blue dice on top of it. No, that roll doesn't count, by the way. I apologize. That was me making sure that the roll was happening. Okay, but he's going to get 1 blue dice against a 2 difficulty hit against you. But it's actually going to go up to 3 for him. All right, so he's going to get 1 advantage rolling against you here. Hoping he's going to be able to get a little something off of you as he's flailing for his life. Here we go. 1 success, which gets soaked. But 1 hit is still 4 damage to 2. He is going to... Wow, look at all those fucking... I rolled so many successes, but so many defeats at the same time.
Yeah.
He barely chips at your armor, doing 1 damage, and that's it. Flailing, bleeding all over the ground, and he is screaming for his men to fire upon you as fast as they can. The next group is going to do what they always do, and they're going to take a shot at you. With no bonuses whatsoever. And he has no advantage to do that. Alright. And they open fire and blaster shots go flying at you. Holy crap. Doing a 3. That's going to get negated. 3 damage to you after it goes through your soak. So they just fire at you and boom, boom, boom. A few bolts hit you while a bunch go whizzing by. Doing 3 more damage to you. What is your health? How much health do you have? It's like,
do you really want to know?
17 or something,
It's
right?
17, yeah.
Yeah, all right. There's like these 3 damages are doing nothing. So you can imagine right now, Maggie's character, Terra, surrounded. One-on-one combat with this sergeant. 6 of his minions surrounding him. blaster shots are going by while Maggie's character is kind of dip dodging and swinging her little thing around, looking like a ninja amongst plebs. And it goes to her now to hit this guy.
Yeah, it's a very different type of like droid. Very flexible and nimble.
Yes, incredibly.
Which is odd. Yeah, so Tara looks into, because I'm still like attached to this guy, right?
Yeah, and he's hunched over and he's
yeah. Your status is critical. And I'm going to pull the vibro bulge out and then stab it into him once more.
Do it up.
All right, let's do it. Come on. Oh, and I have 5 advantages. Can I make those into...
So you could turn it into 2 blue dice.
Hell yeah, I'm going to do that.
And I mean, hitting this guy has gone down to what has been 1 purple dice. It's easy to hit him. So you're going to, yeah, we'll see how it goes. So as you say that to him, he spits.
Oh, shit.
So how does that look?
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Yep.
Plus, I go through armor.
He's
Maggie, I have 2 piercing.
He's done.
Dead. Okay.
He's dead. He's considered rival difficulty, which is like 1 step above minion. So please, as you have it already in his chest and he's heaving and you say that to him, he spits and he says, "Go to hell, you damn robot." What do you do? Just thrust in.
I take my Volge back out and I turn to look at the others and I prepare to take them down next.
Okay. So as you yank it out and the electricity crackles from his body just crumples to the ground, lifeless and limp at your feet. The tip of the back of his left hand grazing your leg as he kind of just plops. And now you have this thing, your Volge kind of extended.
Yeah, and I'm like kind of
still
crouched on the ground, so I have like one knee forward and the other my other leg kind of stretched out, and I have the Volge off to the side, and I'm like in a stance that's like almost like a cat. I'm gonna come at him.
And one of the clone troopers from the group that is about to fire on you just shouts in pure panic, says, "Commander!" And they open fire on you again, hoping to do something. For those asking
electricity, yeah, I have a vibro Volge, and so there's electricity at the bottom of it.
Think of it like, it's like a big pole with like a kind of spear-like thing. Like you said, she's got electricity crackling from it. It looks badass. It's really cool. So they're going to fire on you.
He wouldn't give me what I wanted. So
listen, we're working towards it is what we're doing, okay? All right. They fire on you, all 3 of them. And all the bolts miss. Maybe it's out of pure panic. Maybe it's because they're just not trained. But they all fire on you, and you are too quick. You see all of it coming, the way they're aiming their guns. The calculations run through your head, and you know where they're going to be firing, and you quickly kind of dip dodge out of the way. And as one goes by, you kind of use your viral Volge to just like knock one of the bolts just before it hits you, as you glare at them with your glowing red eyes, a motionless face, and red sand kicks up as the wind gets a little stronger. And now he's dead, and it goes to the other group who is going to do the same thing. They're going to fire on you. And they're going to do a whopping 1. Okay, so here's how this goes down, because minions actually don't take strain. They just take damage if they take strain. So they fire on you doing 1 damage, but one of them panics, and he's trying to step back while firing, trying to put a little bit of distance between you and him, seeing how quickly you took out his commander. However, he didn't see a rock behind him, and he stumbled and fired one of the blaster bolts into the leg of one of the other ones within his own group, taking the other guy down to a knee as he screams like, "What the hell?" And they're firing at you. You still take 1 damage rather, but a couple of damage was actually done to that group. Okay. Nice. It goes to you. You have a choice, basically. Which group would you like to attack? The one on the right or the one on the left? So it basically looks like that.
Sweet. So who is the one? So neither of them have hit me. Well, which one was the one that hit me? Was it
the one on the right-hand side? Right-hand side.
Oh, this side?
Yep. And that's the one that also took a little bit of damage.
I see them as the biggest threat.
Okay.
So basically, he looks at the first group and he says, 50% accuracy, and he turns to the other and he's like 70% accuracy, and he goes forward and goes to attack him.
Sure. It takes a maneuver to get within engaged of them, so we're just gonna I'm gonna move this guy out of there. He's dead. You can actually stay in the engaged square, and I'm just gonna move them to you so they're engaged. And you're just making an attack roll on them at a whopping 1 difficulty to hit
All
them.
right.
And you are welcome to make your attack. And you're going to roll over for
I
2 blue dice, right?
think I had 3. Yes, I only get 1 blue dice.
Okay.
So I will remove the second one that I have here, and I will roll my damage. Well, not my damage, but
Jeez.
my damage.
7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Good God. So you can't.
And also, don't forget that I have Vicious 4.
Yeah, you crit, basically. So
Yeah.
you're welcome to make your critical roll. But I think they.
This is gonna be fun rolling this critical.
Yeah.
tab.
Yeah.
We never got to use this at all last time.
No,
So
not really.
I'll roll that. So 62.
Plus 50, right?
Yes, plus 50.
Good God.
Is that an option? Is that even an option?
So 62, 112.
102. No. 100. Yeah, 112. You're right.
Yeah. Critical injuries heal and can't perform more than 1 maneuver during this turn. You temporarily lamed him. Like you made one of his limbs just completely unusable until he gets to a back to tank, essentially. Until this critical injury is healed, the target cannot perform more than 1 maneuver during his turn. That's it. He can't move. But so you do 10 damage, which gives the group a total of 12. So Maggie, 1 leg forward with the dead body behind her, kicks forward with red sand just gushing back behind her as she sprints to this group of clone troopers with their rifles aimed at her. And while to the naked eye most wouldn't be able to see it, Maggie's eyes far superior. It is a droid, for instance. Fact of the matter. So you see a little bit of shaking as you sprint towards them in the guns at a pure nerves of these mortals who dare even try to step to you. Within 3 or 4 steps, you're already in their face. You move like a blur, and with a single swing, you knock the side of the helmet of one of them, and you hear a distinct crack as his neck snaps and he crumples to the ground. Another quick sweep of your leg knocks one of them up into the air, and you bring your Volge down right into the center of his stomach. Electricity coursing through his body as he convulses and hits the ground, juddering, and life is removed from him. And with another quick step, you take out the leg of the last remaining one, his gun falling to the ground, and he's breathing heavily, bleeding everywhere with a clearly destroyed, broken right leg, begging for his life. Okay, cool. So the next group.
Someone's like, oh my gosh, is this Mecha Grommet?
In a lot of ways, yes. Because of the way you sprinted at these guys and kicked sand up, the wind takes the sand in such a way and swirls in such a way that they're going to take a disadvantage on their next shot against you, just purely because of the weather and how fast you moved and the type of ground that is beneath their feet. Let's go ahead and give them a roll. This is unlikely to hit. So you went from blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so they're still within... Actually, so they're further away because you moved 2 up. They're going to move they're an extreme distance. So they're going to use 1 maneuver to go into long distance, which means it's going to be harder for them to hit you. But they're going to take the shot anyway. Good Lord. That's real luck right there. So that's going to be, you take a 2 soak, so you knock out those 2. So they're still only doing 4 damage total to you. But you hear them running through the clouds, and the blaster shots come through the dust as it settles to the ground, and actually a bunch hit your back, kind of like jutting you forward a bunch, leaving blaster marks across you. Probably the most damage you've taken in a while. And this is the adrenaline coursing through them, making you take, like I said, 4 damage added to your damage pool. How much damage have you taken so far?
4?
Yeah, total of 4 on that.
All right, I'll add 2 more. I'm at 13 damage.
Okay.
You know, I'm getting
a little up there. You're getting up there. Yeah. And you also hear a little bit of a shout as something has hit them as well. Basically, they took strain, and strain just equates damage to them. So whatever wild blaster fire has happened has actually done damage to that group as well. It is going to go to now your turn. You've had this guy at your feet, broken leg, 2 corpses by him, and his gun on the ground, and he's begging for his life. Like, no, please, I'll quit the Republic. Whatever you want, just let me live.
Question.
Yeah.
At a game.
Yeah.
Is giving someone's life something, like giving them their life, something that my character would do. Like, what is my policy, right? So if I'm programmed to like no survivors, everyone must go, like then I would kill him.
Yep,
Yeah.
and that is very much what your programming is, at least at this point in time. You are
Okay.
a military robot whose orders come directly from Grievous, and you had
Yeah, then I wouldn't be programmed to. Yeah, I would probably
right.
just
And
go.
just because Grievous is dead, and you got that kind of ping that Grievous is dead, doesn't mean you all of a sudden have free will. You still have your mission, you still have your job to do, and that is what you're going to do.
Oh yeah, I don't have any free will. I know that.
Right, right.
So, um, when he's calling and when he's saying these things to me, I look him straight in the eye with my crazy red eyes, and I say, "Everyone must go." And the first thing I do is I want to do two things, and I don't know if that's something I can do, but I do want to take him out. But the thing is that I also would like to use my emergency repair patch if possible.
Does it say? I'll take a look. I believe you can use it as a maneuver. I'll double
I
check.
automatically heal 3 wounds on a droid. I can only use 5 in one day. I have 10 of these. One-time use and takes a maneuver, it says.
Yep,
So, would
so
that
then
take
you-
my full maneuver?
It'll take your maneuver action, so you can hit him and then use your maneuver to heal, which means you won't be
Okay.
able to close any distance on the people who are at long range right now, but that's not that big a deal.
Okay. So I'm going to be like 9 out of 10 of these. And I'm going to take my 3 health back
Okay.
immediately.
Yep.
So I basically, I still have the Vulge in one hand, and with my other arm, I lean back, pull something out of my patch, and like strap it onto where I just got like shot at.
Yep. Yep.
And
It's
flash it
one of those
on,
things.
and all of a
Yeah.
sudden it just tink, 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 and goes back over my armor and covers it. And I take back my Vulge and I thrust it into this guy.
You don't even have to make a roll. You can just kill him. He's done.
Okay.
Because
Kill
he's not moving. He's basically like, he's given up. What do you just like right into his throat or right into his back? Just end him, and he crumples to the ground. Electricity again coursing through him. He's dead, but the electricity is causing his body to convulse a little longer than is supposed to. And you turn around and you can see as the dust cloud settles, the other 3 clone troopers, rifles still pointed at you, clearly going to fire until they die, hopefully taking you out. And it's going to go to them. They are going to move forward 1 space to get themselves within medium distance of you to make it not as hard to hit you. And they're going to take a shot.
Everyone must go. Slashing prices, discount troopers, half off. I love that. That's great.
That's great. All right. They fire. 1 damage.
I soak that.
Gone. All right. So they fire. It hits you, but it does no damage. It smokes as the blaster pew, 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 hits you, but nothing happens. It goes to you.
Oh yeah. I turn around and I guess I have to use my new maneuver to get close to them, right?
Yeah. So your maneuver is going to bring you within engaged. So I'll bring that right close to you.
Okay. I will use my new maneuver to do that.
And let me put the difficulty for you to hit. It is.
And I had 2 advantages, so I can add that as
Add them to
one
2 blue dice. Yep.
Well, 1 blue dice, right?
To 1 blue dice. You are correct.
Yeah, not 2. And then, I'll take 2. There's one other thing that I wanted to see if I could do, and I think it's not a skill. I think it's a combat thing. Oh, I don't. I have to like have a specific thing. Okay, never mind. I can't do it. So I take that back. Never mind.
Okay.
I'm just going to attack him. Cool.
You are welcome to make your roll. Go for it.
I don't know what happened to my weapon thing. It just disappeared.
Weird.
Weapons? Is it because it like closed somehow? Oh, there we go. Somehow that section closed.
That's weird.
All right. And I'm rolling. Ooh. So
you do 7 damage. You still do 7.
7, 8. Yeah.
Yep. So you're still doing a bunch of damage. So you lurch forward, closing the distance with these guys in a speed that they're slowly getting used to. But before they even have time to react, you swing your Vibro-Luge right into the gut of one. He coughs blood and crumples, and the weight of his body falls on your weapon, and you just rip it out. And you do and you swing and crack to the side of another one. His armor cracks, but he's still there. So 2 are still up, but 1 falls dead
And
immediately.
that's not a crit, is that?
No, you need 2 successes to crit.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Which is still amazing.
No, it's still insane how that's your build. You are melee and that's it. You beat the hell out of them.
Yeah.
So one is dead.
That's what I wanted to make. I was like, yes, melee
Yep.
droid, go.
I don't think there's a tax opportunity in this game, but it's not that big a deal.
I think there's just advantage or disadvantage.
Yeah, more or less. That's because I'm going to have these 2 back up and try and put themselves. They're going to use their maneuver to stay within short distance of you, which is a little easier to hit you, but a little bit more dangerous for them because they're still pretty damn close to you. And they're going to fire, but they're going to get a disadvantage on one of them. And they open fire.
And they fail.
And they absolutely fail. And it's clear why. One was injured from you, and the other one is injured from something that happened that you couldn't see, whether it was a stray bolt or something. And they're shaking, completely nervous, and the bolts just go whipping by you without a problem. It goes to you.
All right, you know what's going down.
Yep.
So I think I get 1 blue that I can put in there, and I am gonna go vibro action on them again,
Okay.
and not do that great.
Why was there a disadvantage? Was that from me? I left that in. Oh, that was me. I'm sorry.
Should I reroll?
Yeah, reroll that. Shouldn't have been no black dice at all.
Okay. Should I...
Yep, do a full reroll. Because that would have given you
right,
a success. So exactly. So you make. Let's see. You did 7, and they already took 2 from that. 7,
That's 8.
9, 10. Okay. Yeah. So you make short work of both of them. You kill them both instantly. You run up, get between the 2 of them, and thrust into the throat of one. Yeah. And then don't even look behind you, and just kill the other one behind you. Both bodies collapse, and you are now surrounded by the bodies of 7 clone troopers.
Yeah, I'm like leaning down on the ground and looking around with my vibro vulge out.
Right. And the dust kind of kicks up, and as the red swirls around, the red dust and the wind kind of makes a bit more of a sandstorm than usual. The camera fades away from you standing in this red dusted area, and the screen goes to black. We will take a quick break, grab a drink, and we're going to come back and do flashback numero dos in a moment and cover what happened after that and what led her to where she is. Don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be right back. All right, and we are back. That was a fun measure of how problematic in combat you're going to be for me.
Yeah.
That was fun. I was like, all right, I got to figure out what's going on and how difficult you're going to be. So, yep, you're as difficult as I imagined. Whooping butt. Anyway,
Whooping the booty.
Whooping
I mean,
the
that's how we
booty.
built it.
No, and it's great. I'm excited to see you roll on that critical chart many times, over and over.
It's kind of good. It's exciting. It's fun.
All right. So the camera fades to black as the red dust kicks up and clone troopers lie at the feet of the Magna Guard droid that just made incredibly short work of them. What happens next for Terra is disheartening. The Separatists fall apart. You know, Grievous is dead, and
If I had a heart.
if you had a heart, that's very, very true. And you do your best to continue trying to fight this war. For that's your programming. You are to fight this war and win the Separatists. But even when the Separatists are long defeated and long gone, it doesn't matter to you. That doesn't matter. You'll fight this war alone if you have to. That is what you are meant to do. But over the course of time, this Magna Guard droid is quickly caught and defeated in combat just by sheer numbers alone. It wasn't one of those situations where one person caught you by surprise, because you don't get caught by surprise. It was you were cornered by incredible numbers of clone troopers that are now called stormtroopers when they catch you, and you're shot down and deactivated over the course of a rather long, arduous fight that cost the lives of many, including you, unfortunately.
Rip in pieces.
The next time you wake up, however, is in a dark room. Your eyes flicker to life, and what you see before you is an empty warehouse. Is the only thing that makes sense to you. Crates are everywhere. Other rundown droids kind of lean against the wall. Some droid body parts even hang from the ceiling amongst wires and cranes. And before you stands a human who, now that you get a good look, seems to be pulling you out of a crate as well. And he kind of, you see his shoulder as he's leaning over you, and some noises are being made. And then he's like, hang on, just, and this, there we go. And you're on. Oh, thank God. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, the name's Pete. And he's holding something in his hand. This is your restraining bolt? And he kind of throws it over his shoulder as it dinks onto the ground. And he's like, and you have been shut down for, God, it's probably been about a decade since the last time you saw activation. Came across you real cheap on the marketplace, had to have you. I heard about your kind before, and it'd be good to have you in my employ, but listen, droids, they're not slaves, so that restraining bolt is gone. You have your own free will now, and that might be a little bit weird and a little bit hard for you to comprehend, but welcome to life, I guess? And he kind of like laughs at himself and crookes his head. And it's true, actually, now that you run diagnostics through your systems. And
yeah, I was going to say, like, the first thing she does is she's like, running boot up mode.
Mm-hmm. And
protocol 5467 activated.
And as you sit there in silence after saying that, and you kind of run through his diagnostics, you are a little bit beat up. Your left arm isn't working properly. You can move it, but it's malleability is minimal. Your right hand seems to be working okay. You're missing your right leg, and you're standing and kind of leaning on your left leg. As you run through, you realize that those orders that you had to fight the Separatist war, they're there, but you now have an option you didn't have before, to ignore those orders completely. Before, it was a compulsion. You had to follow those orders, but now that while they're still there, they're still programmed, you have this choice before you that you never really had before. To get a good idea of what this gentleman looks like, by the way, he's 5'4". He's got completely gray hair, and he has a really scraggly beard. His right arm is actually prosthetic and robotic in nature. Very primitive. It doesn't have any skin. It actually looks like a robotic arm. And he's wearing a jumpsuit, a mechanical jumpsuit, and has a few tools dangling on his belt. And in his left hand, which had the restraining bolt, now free, is actually reaching for a spanner wrench. And he's kind of looking you up and down and making notes to himself. He's kind of muttering to himself. Nothing really audible, but clearly kind of taking stock of what needs work on you. And he's smiling.
As
quite
he's
proud.
doing that, her report ends, and she's like, "Diagnostic report complete.
Right.
Missing." And then she starts naming off the limbs.
And as you're doing that, he actually quickly drops everything he has, and he takes out a data pad, and he quickly starts seemingly writing down everything
required for, and then she starts listing off like model numbers of different like body parts and stuff like that.
And he looks as he's writing this down, and he's now going over the list. He pushes himself up against the closest wall, crosses his legs a little bit, and is reading the data pad. And he's like, well, clearly first thing that needs fixing is you're missing a leg. That's fine. Your arm is not working properly. We can take care of that, no problem. Everything else is fixable and not expensive, but it's going to take some time. Do you... What's the last thing you remember, may I ask? And the last thing you remember is being surrounded by the stormtroopers and being shot down.
I list date, time, and then I provide details. How many stormtroopers were there?
There were probably somewhere around 30 firing at you, and you easily took down half of them.
37 stormtroopers. And then she pauses for a moment. 20% success rate. Or something like that. I don't know. Whatever the percentage is. And then she says, defeat imminent.
Oh, you've been out of commission for a long time. Really, that long ago. Shakes his head. So you went out as the Empire was rising. Interesting. Well, I can fix all of this if you want me to fix. Do you have a name? Do you have a designation, perhaps? Most droids have at least a designation.
T3R4.
T3R4. T3R4. Mind if I call you Terra?
This is fine.
Terra it is. All right, Terra. Well, welcome to Tatooine. It's a shithole planet. Do you know what Tatooine is? You run through your diagnostics. Yeah, you've heard of Tatooine. Crime planet. Nothing really important there. Full of scum. But it exists. You know of it. And it's far from where you were.
Yeah, so she lists off like details about the location and then states how many, I don't know, light years away it is from wherever she was before.
Right. It's like, yeah, well, you're far from home then, for sure. Well, welcome to Tatooine. I got you for kind of a cheap price, but luckily I have some parts that I can replace it with. If you'd let me, and you do have that choice, Terra, I know it might be something new, I'm happy to put you back together. And kind of put you back into a proper working order. Now, I'm sure you could defend yourself fine in your current situation, and I'm sure you could kill me if you so chose to do so. However, I'm hoping that the good faith that I've shown you by removing that restraining bolt will allow you to let me work on you as a project of mine. It's something of a passion to repair busted old droids. Something that I really enjoy. Something that you allow me to take care of that for, yeah?
She's still not sure about all of this whole situation, but runs the probability of her being able to survive without the limbs that she's missing and says, repair access granted.
Thank you, Tara. I appreciate that. Now, if you don't...
Someone's like, kill him.
Yeah, please don't kill. I mean, you can kill him if you want. That's totally fine. That's your choice. So he kind of smiles at that and kind of kicks himself off the wall he was leaning against, and his eyes wander to his myriad of projects. And he's like, well, I have a lot of different things going at once. You're going to become my priority. You're a Magna. You're a Magna droid. You don't see those often. You don't see those really ever. And the person who had you in their possession didn't know what they had, so. And I wasn't about to tell him, you know what I'm saying? I would rather get you for a cheap price and return you to working order properly. I have a proposition for you, though, Tara. See, there's a reason I have been looking for a droid like you. I'll repair you.
I'm the droid you're looking for?
You are the droid he's looking for. I'll repair you. Not a problem. I'm going to take care of that. But in return, I'd ask you a favor.
I understand this custom. It is custom for humans. What is this favor that you are requesting?
Yeah, it's custom for humans. You're good at killing, right? That's your thing? That's what you were made for?
Protocol 5782. Yes.
I'm going to make sure you can kill again. And I owe a favor to a man with a lot of firepower and a lot of money. I'd like you to remove that problem for me. I'll give you details, names, and where he's located after I've taken care of you. And if you deem fit, I'd like you to take care of him for me in turn. After that's all said and done, you're welcome to be on your way and free. Now, I'm aware you could just snap my neck and be done as you will. But I'm hoping the fact that I gave you free will, maybe we'll let you, you'll help me in return. What do you say?
The droid kind of blinks a few times and the lights flicker, and one of their eyes like flickers a little bit and kind of goes dim. And looks back up. Yes. Favor granted.
You know, I wasn't sure that was going to work, but I'm glad it does. Well, I have a few of the pieces we need laying around. For a while, I was planning on building a Magna droid just from scratch, grabbing parts here and there from whoever was selling them. But when I came across you, I couldn't say no. Luckily, I do have a leg laying around here somewhere that I can attach to you. That shouldn't take us too long. But other than that, I imagine I'll have you fixed up in about a week or two. And then I'll send you on the way to where he's taken care of. And you're welcome to have free reign to this warehouse all you want. You can look around, do what you will. This is just full of random parts and the like. But I'd like you to stay in the warehouse until you're done being fixed. If anybody sees you and they know what they're looking at, I fear that trouble will be made and unnecessary lives will be lost. So stay in the warehouse. I'll get you fixed up as soon as I can, and we'll get things taken care of.
The droid stands up on one leg, still able to like kind of hop around basically.
Yep.
At him and says, newest protocol 826532467110, like just like
a huge number.
Like the last protocol that's been added to her system, states that I have free will.
You do.
This means that I can leave. She looks around. What is this location? Do I recognize it at all?
Nope. You're right now.
Can I recognize like the longitude and latitude I'm at or something like that?
Well, right now you're in an enclosed warehouse, so you haven't been outside yet. So you don't know exactly where you are on the planet. You don't have the ability to figure that out.
Okay.
The warehouse is relatively big. Like I said, there's a bunch of just kind of broken down droids hanging from the ceiling. Some are kind of up against the wall. One's laying on a table. And there's lots of just like random crates scattered in what looks like complete chaos, with parts and wires and tools just kind of hanging out of them. And he's basically saying, like,
when he asked me what they call me or whatever, did he say who he was?
He called himself Pete.
Pete? That's
Yep.
what did he say that to me?
Yep, he said that right at the very beginning, but
okay.
Yeah, you were booting up. So.
Then that is what I'll use then instead of the location. I will say, With this policy, that means T3R4 Terra may leave destination of Pete's storage.
Yeah, yeah, you can leave. I can't force you to stay. I'm asking you to stay. I'm asking you to not go outside. I can't stop you. But if someone sees you and trouble's made, that could come back to me. Not too many people work on droids around here. Not to the extent that I do. And not many people, if they see a Magna droid and they recognize it, most people might point their fingers at me.
Pete does not want trouble.
Pete does not want trouble.
Noted. And the droid walks around and looks around at the
You
storage.
start hopping around and stuff.
Yeah.
He nods. And
If I see any pieces that look like I can use them to repair myself, I would like to just start repairing myself.
that's fine. You will come across a couple of pieces here and there that are like, oh, I could use that, or I could definitely use that as well. He immediately, when you say that and start walking around, he immediately scurries off a little bit, and you hear parts being hit in the ground, clanging on the ground and whatnot. He's like, here it is off in the distance. And he comes running back, little hunched over as he's got this big leg being cradled in both of his arms. He's like, before we do anything else, why don't we get full mobility waist down for you, huh?
Yes, mobility would be most efficient. And she stands still.
He gestures over to a table, and he's like, and he pats it. He's like, why don't you hop up here? And easier for me to take care of you that way.
Yeah. Tara hops up on the location, whatever works best.
Okay. And he's going to go ahead and make a mechanics roll on you with... There we go. And he's going to go ahead and make a mechanics roll to try and get this thing back on you at a decent amount of time. He makes a success with a few advantages. So, normally this thing it'd probably take him about 3 or 4 hours to get this thing done. But the amount of advantages he had, it actually took him only about an hour and a half to get this thing attached to you, take the wires. And all the while he's talking to you. He's chatting with you like no one has ever talked to you before. Your whole history before this is just you're an object of war. That's all you were. You were a tool to murder. You were a possession. He's talking to you like you've seen humans talk to one another. He's talking to you like you're a person. And he's like, so, what was it like to fight in the Separatist War? I mean, I was alive, but I was young back then. That was a while ago. And he's just tinkering at it. What was it like for you? How does Tara react?
What it was like.
Yeah, how does Tara react to that being
Tara's
asked?
like, what was it like? It was like. And then she like pauses.
Right.
And starts replaying like memories of what happened, and tries to correlate what that, like, for instance, the guns and the weapon fire would be like to a human, and what battle would be like in another sense. So she kind of like tries to figure out what would be similar to that, and says, it is like if your food were to attack you and then you murdered it.
He looks confused. He's just tinkering. He's like, that's interesting. And he starts staring at it. So do you see me as food? And he keeps poking away.
I cannot consume your biological makings. Although your arm could be useful. Because he's got like a mechanical arm, right?
No, he's like thinking, he stops and he like looks up at you and he looks over to your arm. He's like, I'm gonna fix your arm. Don't worry. You don't need to if you take my arm.
Because she's missing an arm too.
Well, your arm is there, it's just not working properly.
Oh, it's not working.
Yeah. And he's like, I'd rather you not take my arm. That's a form of... Yeah, no, don't. I'll take care of your arm. I promise. I made you a promise I'm going to take care of my arm. But you likened, he's like quickly trying to change subject. You likened fighting like fighting food, so I just curious that if you saw me like you saw food, I guess. But you don't eat. No, I, I don't know how.
I do not need to consume to survive like you do.
Right. Did you ever?
You require 1,222 calories a day.
Oh damn. I've been surpassing that every day. Then he like looks down at his gut and he kind of pats it and he's like, damn. Anyway, that's fine. So
I can provide you with a, and then she lists off like an exercise routine.
were you a personal trainer? And he like laughs at that joke. And he's like, you're a personal trainer on the side when you were a soldier?
I do not understand personal trainer, but I do understand that combat is required and training is required for said combat.
All right, okay, sarcasm. We'll work on that. I might have a program I can install to give you a sarcastic sense of humor. Don't worry about it. Did you ever do anything other than fighting, Tara? Is that all you ever did?
By protocol, and she like names out the protocol 547, I am required, I was required to defeat, and then she just lists off names of like everyone that she was supposed to kill.
He's actually nodding along with that. It's like, yeah, you know, well, most of those people are dead now anyway, so I guess you don't have too much of a concern. All Republics, from the names I recognize at the very least, Republic politicians, so you don't have to worry anymore, Tara. The Republic isn't around. They won, and then they lost.
Please explain more.
Well, you were taken down by a bunch of stormtroopers or clone troopers or whatever they were at the time. Shortly after that war against the Separatists was won, the Republic was dissolved, and in its place an empire was installed. And we are ruled by Emperor Palpatine himself. The Republic was dissolved completely. There is no more democracy. There is just Emperor Palpatine. That's it. And his army. Droids aren't really used anymore for combat. They were seen as inferior. Not that you're inferior at all. You're a magnificent piece of art.
Yeah, she did kind of startle at that.
Yeah,
not out of anger, but as like proving.
Yeah. He's like, you are something else, but there weren't many of you. There weren't many Magna droids around, Magna guards. And even what your purpose was outside of elite combat to fight the Jedi Order, I think, is what you were made for. Where you came from is still much of a mystery. Much like the Jedi.
To protect General Grievous.
General Grievous. He actually looks confused, kind of furrows his brow as he kind of steps back or like leans back from your leg from installing. He's like, I don't know who that is. Was he another separatist general, I'm assuming?
She like spews off information about him.
He's like, no idea. What do you know what happened to him? Is he still around like you? And he goes back to work on your leg.
The last memory that was sent to me was a ping. It stated that he had died. But I must find his remains and his collection.
You can find his remains and collection? How the hell are you going to do that?
Now that I have protocol, and then she lists off the long ass number again.
He stops you halfway through. He's like, you could just say you have free will, Tara. You don't have to.
Now that I have free will.
There you go.
I will get them.
That's loyalty, I guess. So have you, and he kind of swallows, ever killed a Jedi before? And he goes back.
I don't know, have I?
It's up to you.
Ooh.
You are built for that.
Ooh, I want to say yes.
Yeah, you're welcome
to. That just sounds awesome. Immediately, she responds with, yes. And then she lists off the names.
Oh, okay, more than one. Good to know. Do you have any way of knowing that they're a Jedi, or just by the lightsaber?
I do not question No survivors.
Well, Tara, and he actually takes a step back as he kind of pats your leg. He's like, clearly he's done. And he actually gestures as he's talking for you to go ahead and give it a try and move it to see if it works properly. And if you do, it does. He's like,
Yeah, she jumps up and does a flip
oh, damn.
if I can.
Yeah, no,
That's
absolutely, 100%.
All right.
You jump up, do a flip, and he kind of takes a couple more steps back because he's wide-eyed. He's like, the whole no survivor things, that's, well, that's part of your free will now. You don't have to kill your enemies anymore, you know?
Correct. That was part of protocol. And it's like a much smaller
Right,
number.
of course. One of your earlier protocols.
It was like protocol number 3.
Right. Protocol 3, of course. You don't have to kill anymore. You don't have to do anything. If you want to just stand in the corner of my warehouse and be a pretty part of my collection for all of eternity, you have that opportunity. And he smiles at that. Obviously not serious, but also kind of fingers crossed. Maybe you'll be like, yeah, sure, I'll be part of your collection. And he stands...
What does it mean to be part of this collection? It appears very... She looks around. What would human call this? Boring.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, it might be boring.
Where do you train?
Train. I don't train. I don't fight.
She pokes your stomach and your arm.
He's got a bit of a belly and he's kind of squishy and his arm is...
She lists off his like body fat.
Oh, Tara. I'm unhealthy, I get it. I don't fight. I do this. I really like robotics and droids. There's something about a droid that just feels more comfortable to me than a human or any living creature, I guess.
This is something that I also agree with.
Good. That's why, we get along, I guess. Well, I'm going to go over there and I'm going to start looking for parts that I might have laying around to help fix you up. You're welcome to explore.
I will go over there as well, and I can help look for parts to help fix me as well.
That'll make it much quicker.
And she like towers over him because you said he's like 5 foot something.
Yeah, he's like 5'4". So you almost have almost a foot.
Now
on
that
this
I
guy.
can like fully extend, and because before she didn't look like she was 6'2" because she was like kind of bouncing around on one leg and using that to kind of give her like Tigger buoyancy.
Yep.
And now she's like fully standing.
Awesome. Yep, you're much taller than he is, and he doesn't look too surprised. You also realize now that you're moving around, you can look around. You actually did come in a metallic crate, one that would have had you kind of bent down and then kind of stuffed in it. But in that crate is your weapon as well. It's leaning up against the back. It's kind of sitting there, looking rather. It's seen better days. It hasn't been used in God knows how long. And
that's my weapon?
Yeah, your weapon. It's in the crate that you came in.
Ooh, okay.
So you're welcome to go grab that if you so choose.
Oh, yeah. How much space is in this room? Is it
quite a bit? The room is very big, and while there's a bunch of stuff scattered everywhere, there's enough room for you to move around and kind of stretch your legs.
Okay. She reaches in, grabs it. One arm doesn't work still, right?
Yeah, well, it barely works. Like, it's barely functioning.
Yeah. She actually doesn't use that arm. Okay. Goes in, grabs the vibro vulge, pulls it out, and has it kind of like further up in her arm to use it as like part of like kind of like to support it a little bit more. Mm-hmm. She pulls it out and slides across the floor into the more emptier space and starts like swinging it around and kind of doing a little bit of a motion to practice.
Yeah, kind of like see if everything's functioning, kind of maybe run through some combat protocols to make sure you still have it. In the distance, you actually hear Pete shout off. He's like, "You're not planning on killing me, are you?"
She doesn't respond. She just keeps doing her thing. Because now she knows she has free will.
Yes, of course. And he's just like, okay, I'm going to keep looking. And for the next week, you are in this place, being tinkered with, being fixed. And he holds to his word all the while. He doesn't do anything funny with your programming. He very much is just kind of bringing you back to fully functioning. The only thing he can't find a part for, the only thing he can't fix completely, is your dimmed out eye. As much as he'd love to, that would require getting the head of a Magna Guard. And he actually does offer you, like, look, eye's not working so well. You can still see fine. I know you can still see fine. You've proven to me that you can still see fine. I could replace it with, like, a protocol droid's eye. It would look really hilarious, and I would get a kick out of it. But it's your choice. I can give you a protocol droid's eye, or we can just leave it alone.
What is this hilarious?
It's funny. You would look funny.
What is funny?
Funny. It's, you laugh. You know what laughing is? Ha 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 ha.
Ha 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 ha.
Right. Ha ha. Oh, yeah. No, do it again. Ha 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 ha.
Oh my god, he's just trying to mess with it. That's great.
Yep.
He's like, ha 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 ha.
Ha 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 ha.
Ha ha ha.
Knock,
oh no,
knock.
this is like Final Fantasy all over again.
It's Final Fantasy X. He's like, okay, how do I explain humor to a droid that has done nothing but murder? And that was sarcasm, by the way, even though it was also truth. It was sarcasm. Okay. Have you ever heard of a joke? Do you know what a joke is?
I do not know of this joke.
Okay. A joke is something that's said, but I don't actually mean it.
I want to eat you. That is joke.
Because you don't want to eat me, right?
Yes, that is correct.
That's what we call sarcasm. But you have to say it
Ha
sarcastically.
ha 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 ha.
Ha 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 ha! He laughs like he's genuinely laughing every time you go.
Oh my God,
ha
this is
ha
great.
ha ha ha! And he's like knock knock. And then as you like stand in silence, he's like, you say who's there? Knock knock.
Who is there?
Orange. Say orange who?
Orange who?
Orange, you glad to see me? That's where you laugh.
But that is not joke.
That is a joke.
I am glad to see you. I'm not sure what glad is, but I assume I am glad to see you.
Glad is happy. Happiness.
What is this happiness?
You know when you killed someone and some of them cried or begged for their lives?
That is happiness?
No, happiness is the opposite of that. What you
Death?
caused was pain and sadness and death. Happiness is the opposite of that. Joy, smiling, laughter. That is happiness. And most living creatures, like myself, strive every day to be happy.
Do I want to be happy?
I imagine you would. When you accomplished a task for General Grievous, was there any sense of accomplishment within you? Did you feel satisfied?
I do not know satisfaction. I only know that once a policy or a mission has been completed, I receive another one.
Well, if you choose to stick around, Tara, I'll be happy to teach you, or at least try, to teach you happiness and humor and laughter. As long as murder isn't what brings you happiness, then I can help. But
What happens if murder does bring happiness?
well, I'll get you the first ticket out of here to the next planet, and I'll shake your hand and say it was great to meet you.
Do other planets also feel this way? Happiness for murder?
There are some. The Tatooine might even be one of them. There are a lot of people who are out there that feel that way. Some might
So
even
this is acceptable to some and not to others.
to some, not to most. And murder will likely get you deactivated, put in prison, killed, depending.
I do not like these options.
Yeah, that's why people don't usually do it. Or at least they don't do it publicly.
People with free will.
Just like you.
She just kind of stands there and looks intrigued at you and then points with her arm extending the vibro Volge and almost touching the piece that she sees, This could be useful for my arm.
Yeah. Yeah, that could be useful. I don't want to get an insult. And he grabs with the piece you were pointing at and gets to work on you, continuing that work.
That's great. I imagine that she would actually probably stay with him for quite some time and learn like a lot of things. But
Yeah, he'd be happy to have you. So after the final day where he gives you the final little tweaks and improvements and really has you working in full capacity, he kind of stands back, looks you up and down, and looks really proud of himself. So your eye is still flickering because I'm assuming you chose not to put a protocol droid's eye in its place, presumably.
yeah, no.
Yeah, exactly. The leg that actually was put on you is a little discolored. It clearly at one point was the same color that you were, but you were kept in better condition for the most part, barring obviously a missing leg and a malfunctioning arm, than wherever he ended up getting this leg. This leg clearly saw too much sun, too much dirt, and isn't in as great a shape as the rest of you. But that's really the only thing that's mismatching on your body. And even then, to somebody who's quickly taking a look at you, they probably wouldn't notice. So he's looking.
Take a note.
Yes.
I added that extra one. The
Sure.
eye thing was my planning.
And he looks you up and down, quite proud of himself. And he smiles. And he's like, well, I'd say you're probably my finest work. Everything's functioning properly. And, well, there's not much more I can really do to improve you. He looks around.
What was the accuracy of your previous finest work?
Well, if I would consider you 90 to 95% accurate, I'd say maybe my last previous work was 80% accurate.
How can I be 90 to 95% accuracy? What is this 5% discrepancy?
Well, I say 90 to 95% because we really haven't put you fully field tested yet. There could be something that pops up, a malfunctioning program or a loose wire in there that we didn't catch. That might only come.
What about the other 5% on top of the discrepancy of the 5%?
Oh, why you're not 100% is what you're asking.
Yes.
Well, your leg doesn't look as good as the rest of you. Your eye is flickering, and that hasn't been fixed. That's really about it. I mean, if I wanted to keep you 100% effective for what your intended purpose was, I'd also put the restraining bolt back into you, but I don't want to do that. I call that an improvement. Other people would call that a problem.
I like this improvement. She looks down at her leg and with one eye, her other eye, like pops it out and looks into the other one and then closes it and puts it back and says, I am fine with this 5%. The discrepancy, we shall fix. What is the mission?
Right, the mission. This is where I go back on my word and say death is something I try to avoid. He shakes his head. The smile fades from his face. His beard, he runs his hand through his beard, clearly messing it up a little bit, and then through his hair, messing up a bit. He sighs and turns around and scurries into one of the crates and fiddles for something, and then quickly pulls out a big blanket or something. Kind of dusts it off. Yeah, this will be good. Turns around, throws it at you. You catch it, no problem. And it is a cloak. It's like, put that over you.
She holds it up and looks at it and examines it and then figures out based on what it looks like how to put it on.
Yep. It covers you. If you've actually seen a picture of the Magna Carta guards, it's very similar to that, except a lot more ripped up and run down and obviously seen some wear. It's like that will keep most people from inspecting you too close, and it'll keep a lot of the sand out of your joints. It's a dusty planet, Tatooine, as I'm sure you know. Take a seat if you want. And he pulls up actually like a folding chair and he plops himself into it and he lets out a sigh of relaxation as he kind of slouches and spreads his legs.
She watches him because at this point they've been together for quite some time and
she over a week now,
has tried to learn from him, and she watches how he sits down and how he slouches and how he sighs, and she does the same thing. She sits down in the same manner, like almost copying him exactly, and then does the sigh as well.
He gives like a sideways smirk. Well, business. A while ago, a local thug. He calls himself a crime lord. I wouldn't exactly call him that. Offered to give me a job to fix up a couple of his droids. And if I did it, I'd have, a good chunk of pay. And if I didn't, he'd come after me and remove me, kill me. I took the job, obviously, because I didn't want to be killed. Fixed up his droids pretty damn well. I'd say so anyway. They worked really nicely. Guard droids, nothing really special. A lot of modified protocol droids specifically, replacing a lot of their arms with weapons or modifying them to be able to carry a pistol or use it. I don't know if you know anything about protocol droids, but they're uppity and annoying, and all they do is translate languages, and they serve you food and drink. Completely useless for anyone other than...
I'm assuming that I would have, right? Have seen some protocol
droids? You
droids?
definitely would have seen some protocol droids in your time. No question.
Okay.
You maybe not would have interacted with them, but you would have seen them around separatists bases and the like. Anyway, he got his hand on a bunch of protocol droids. He wanted them modified, and I modified them. It's what you do here. Problem is, one of the ones he gave me just wasn't working all that well. I did what I could. I got it working. I told him it wouldn't be reliable, and I wouldn't use it, but he didn't want to hear it. And he said if I'm half as good as he's been told I am, that it should work properly, even though I'm telling him it's not working. A week later, messenger finds me in a local cantina, lets him know that the boss wants to talk to me. Sure, I'll go talk to him. Sit down with him, tells me that the droid I fixed caused more problems than helped. Ended up killing a couple of his men. I told him that it wasn't my problem. I told him it wasn't going to work, but what is he going to do? He's pissed at me. He wants me to pay up. So he wants me to pay for the work that I did, to give the money back for that particular droid. And not only that, he wanted me to pay interest. I owed him money for the fact that this droid wasn't working. And I was, willing to pay him back for that money if he gave me time to earn it. A lot of that money was spent already. But to pay him that plus interest is something I really couldn't do. But of course, I'm telling him I can do it because he'll kill me on the spot if I say no. And I tell him, sure. Time goes on. I don't have the money for him. People come looking for me. And I hide and I keep myself away from it. Most people don't know where my warehouse is, and that's where I kind of tend to keep out. Now I can't even go into town. It's been well over a month since he's been looking for his money. If I step foot anywhere near there, I'm going to be shot down by his men. So I'd like you to go and show him that I do good work, if you know what I'm saying.
You would like me to show him my arm and leg?
And your capabilities. Look, if you can negotiate with the man and tell him to back off, that'd be fantastic. But he's a Deveronian, and they aren't known for backing down. Deveronians, by the way, for those who don't know, are the red-skinned, devil-looking alien race. They have horns coming out of their heads. They literally look like devils. So if you can talk him down, look, I'm more than okay with trying to talk him down, but not insulting you, Terra. You're one of the most interesting droids I've ever had, and have been really fun to talk to, but you're not good with words yet. And he kind of looks at you with a kind of worried face.
She looks at you with not worried face, just with robot face.
Robot
says,
face.
I am good with words. I know. And she lists off how many millions of words she knows. And I can use these words in, and she lists off a bunch of different numbers.
He holds up his hand at that point. He's like, no. What I meant I was alluding to something. Alluding, you know what that means. I was basically saying that you're not a good negotiator. I expect you to kill him. He throws his hands in the air, frustrated because you're clearly not understanding what he's trying to get at. He's like, I expect that you'll murder him and remove him completely from my problems, and I don't have to hide out here in my own little warehouse anymore, and I can go back and mingle with real people again. Do you think you can?
I have accepted this mission, but you call favor already, yes. And I will negotiate with this. And she waits for his name.
Okay, well, I got a speeder bike outside. You can take in. Should be there in only a couple of hours. You're looking for a Deveronian. His name is Tark. Tarq. He spells it for you. He runs with a small gang of a few people. Nothing big. And he has his own little bar in town. Tark's watering hole. Real creative, right? And he laughs. You probably find him there, and if you can't find him there, you'll find his men there, and you can probably earn a meeting with him in some way. But I don't expect the meeting to go well, so I warn you, just be ready. Be ready to fight. And listen, if what you say is true, and I don't know why you would lie, if you've killed Jedi in the past, I don't expect him to be a problem. The
By
only thing...
Protocol 1, I am always ready for combat.
Good. Protocol 1. I like Protocol 1. Keep Protocol 1 in the forefront of your mind at all times while on Tatooine, specifically. Place is hell.
Activate Protocol 1 in... And then she, like, names, like, a location in her system.
He smiles like, good. Town is going to be Mos Island. Mos Island. Small little town, like I said, mostly humans. And a bunch of other, and eventually you'll probably come across a bunch of what are the hell those little Utini Jawas. They're problematic. Don't let them get near you. They will try and rip your leg off and run away with it if they can get away with it. Don't let Jawas near you, little thieving bastards. And he like clearly looks frustrated about it, but
Jawas like to steal legs of...
They're little mechanical scavengers. They'll rip apart any droid they can get their hands on for parts. That's all they do.
Oh man, you're gonna make her have a complex of Jawas.
Anyway, Mos Island. That's what you're looking for. Tark, he'll be there. Tark's watering hole. Just find him, deal with it, and when you're done, come back here, and we can see what we can do with you next. Sound good?
This is good.
Good. You may leave when you want, Tara.
She gets up and leaves.
She just gets up and leaves. And as you're walking out the door, as you open up the door, you're actually met with the bright light of two suns and sand kicking back up. And just...
This does not faze her.
What you see is just basically vast desert, but just a little bit of distance, you see like a tent, more or less, where he's been staying and where he's been sleeping. Other than that, no buildings around. But as you walk out and you're about to shut the door, he's like, I don't know what I expected. And then the door shuts. And there is a speeder bike also sitting right outside to the left-hand side of the warehouse, as he said, that you can jump on and head to Mos Island on. And I'm assuming Tara does just that, unless you want to look around.
She walks up to the bike, or while she's walking up to the bike, she's examining it, and in her mind, it's like dissecting each of the body parts of the bike so she can figure out how to ride it before she even gets to it.
Yep. This is not far off from some of the speeder bikes you've ridden in more foresty worlds back when the war was still going on. So it's really easy for you to figure out as you kind of your programming takes apart the speeder bike. You're like, oh, this is easy. I can do this. So did she get on top of the speeder and head off?
Yeah, she's going.
Speeder kicks up, thing lifts off the ground in a hovering way as Tara puts her legs on like the little leg holsters in the back, and vroom, just immediately flies off into the distance, desert dust kicking up behind you. You're piloting, what's your piloting planetary skill, out of curiosity?
Probably not that great.
Let's find out.
Let's look. Piloting planetary. Oh, actually, it's not terrible. I am trained in this.
All right, sweet.
Not. Oh, I don't have a point in it though.
What do you roll when you roll for planetary?
2 green.
Oh, that's not great, but it's not terrible. Luckily, there's no sandstorms kicking up, and he gave you the location of the town. So it's only a 1 difficulty. It's easy technically. It's only going to have a 1 purple dice.
Let's see how RNG likes me, which it doesn't normally. So
you're welcome to roll when you're ready.
All right, let's make sure I don't have any bonuses here. No.
Basically, failure means instead of getting there in an hour or 2, it'll be a lot longer.
Take me longer.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
A success.
1, but I got a distress, so I'll take a strain. Oh, yep. Actually, I won't take a strain. I'll hit a bump or something like that. I'm cool with that.
Sure, sure. It'll extend your time, but by a negligible amount, more or less. So you still get there when the suns are
I forgot to ask.
Yeah, yeah.
I have all my wounds fixed.
Oh, you're completely healed up, of
Okay,
course. Yep,
cool.
yep, yep. 1000%. It's like you still have the wounds from a decade ago. Don't worry, it never healed up. Yeah, so...
I assumed that's why he was doing all that stuff to me.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Yeah, he's healing you up and taking care of you and basically fixing you up to top notch. So eventually Mos Island comes into view in the distance. During the two suns are still up. It's still bright day. You didn't get there late or at night or anything. And as it gets closer and closer, you see a few dewbacks wandering around on the outside. Those weird green kind of hippo-looking alien creatures. They're ridden a lot. They're kind of like space camels, I guess is a good way to look at them. Kind of wandering around on the outside with a few people riding them, one person leading them. The speeder bike makes a loud noise roaring past them. One of the humans is like shouting at you like, slow down, like, because you kind of stayed really close to him, but you didn't hit him.
If they yell at me,
Yep.
She yells back, free will.
So you rip by him on the speed bike. He shouts, slow down. You yell free will. You don't know if he said anything back because you're too fast. And you hit the streets of Mos Island. Now, the streets here are all dirt. Everything's sand. Everything in this freaking planet is sand. Sand as far as you could see. It's obnoxious. And the buildings themselves are very much just made out of clay. People are wandering around, and as you head in, you're going to hit the first main road that you hit is a market street. There are tents and vendors set up all along it, trying to hawk their wares. As you drive by them, they're shouting at you like, "Stop here! Blah blah blah! We've got whatever. We have this for sale. No, we can get you this." Basically, nonsense that you don't really care about. And you are, I'm assuming, just looking for Tark's watering hole, unless you stop and wander on your own.
I'm looking for Tark's watering hole if I see it. And if people talk to me, she is just exclaiming free will at them.
That's like your response to everything is free will. I would like you to make me, it's an easy roll because the town is relatively small. But I'd like you to make me a streetwise check, please.
Ooh, this is gonna go not well. I'm all for it though. All right, here we go. Some streetwise from your robot who has been asleep for 20 years.
Yep, perfect.
And has no sense of other things than just pulling.
Oh, hey, you did it! Wow, look at that. One green is all you have.
Like speeding through this town and like analyzing everything and scanning across. Love it.
So I imagine what we see, kind of a top-down view of Terra just ripping through the streets, taking really sharp turns, and all the while her head is swiveling back and forth, left to right, constantly like taking in the signs, looking at the buildings, and probably mapping out the town in her own head pretty easily, so she knows where she's been and where she needs to go to kind of cover it. Within maybe like 10 minutes of being in the town, however, you rip by Tark's watering hole. You see it, and it's off on the right-hand side, and not too far away. Yep, absolutely. And do you park? Where do you park it? Do you park it right up next to the building itself?
If I look around, do I see where the other vehicles that are similar to mine are parked?
Yeah, there's like an area to the front where there's like a dewback and a couple of speeder bikes that are parked up near against the building.
I park like right next to like whatever the closest is to the building that is next to the other speeder bikes.
Okay. You do so. You get a good look at this building now. This building is small. This is not like a giant cantina in any way. In fact, this looks like a redone house. The door, this easily could have been somebody's home where they lived. And as Terra walks to the front, heads up the stairs, and opens the door, there's no bouncer there to stop you. Once you open the door, all that's there is a very small room. To your left-hand side is a bar that stretches the entire length of that single room. With one man, he is a Rhodian in the back, cleaning a glass and kind of organizing and stuff. There's 3 tables on your right-hand side, and in the back, against the big back wall, there's a large table that's carved into the wall that is like a big booth. So it seems to just be one, like a biker bar, more or less.
Is it filled with people or empty?
So what you have is just the guy in the bar cleaning and one dude sitting at a bar stool just having a drink. Out of the 3 tables, One table has two people at it, both human, and in the back you see somebody with three others around him, a Bothan and two humans, and then the person that sat is a Deveronian. The Deveronian himself is in relatively nice attire. Wouldn't call it specifically fancy in any way, but compared to the people in this bar, he's a little bit better dressed than the rest of them. The clothing doesn't have any holes in him. It doesn't look like the clothing is dirty, or at least not as dirty as the rest, where everybody else is kind of running rags or what do you call it, not tarps, but like not dresses, I'm trying to think of the name, over their shoulders. They kind of like a robe, yeah. And they're just sitting around, and as you walk in, all eyes snap to you. Conversation ceases, and everybody looks and turns their head as the door opens, and the bright sun has the silhouette of this tall-ass droid in a cloak stepping in. No details can be seen. It's just the silhouette as you step in. Everybody looks over to you. There's an awkward silence for a little while to see who's going to say something.
She walks in, closes the door behind, and stands there for a moment, scanning the room. Finds the Deveronian who she's looking for, and so it takes her like a moment to scan. I don't know however long it takes, a couple minutes. Yeah, she's just standing there scanning, her eyes like moving back and forth, making this noise, and then she starts walking towards that person.
So they don't say anything as well. It's a very tense silence. If Tara knew what tense was, it's a very tense silence. After she's done scanning,
she doesn't know what this tense
exactly.
Emotion.
So Tara, as soon as Tara takes her first step, the bartender says, no droids without their owners.
She continues walking. Free will.
He he puts down his glass and he snaps a couple times, and the people from the table on your right hand side get up, and they both of them reach for their pistols, and the bartender says again, no droids without their owners. Free will or not, it's the rules. Out.
What policy is this?
Tark's policy. Out.
May I speak to Tark? That is exactly who I am looking for.
In the back, you see Tark kind of watching you. He's got his hands folded like this and his chin rested on them as his arms are sitting on the table in front of him, with the Bothan on his left and the two humans on his right. He's in the middle of the booth, and he just is watching you closely. And the bartender looks to Tark and then looks back, seeing that Tark's not saying anything, says, if Tark wants to talk to you, Tark will summon you. Get out. Last warning.
What is this summoning that Tark does?
You're thick, aren't you, droid? Summoning, it means he calls you. He tells you he wants to have a meeting with you. So unless he told you specifically he wanted to have a meeting with you, then you don't...
I have been told that I am supposed to meet this Tark here at this location, Tark's watering hole.
And who gave you
those... If I look at the other two people that are trying to, like, that are standing there, like, trying to intimidate me, what do they look like? Do they look like they could take me on as I like scan them?
To you, these people are nothing. They don't look like they could take you on. They might get a lucky shot off, but people get lucky shots off all the time. They're just humans in relatively kind of ragged attire, and they've got pistols drawn. They don't have their pistols trained on you, but they are held at a loose kind of hold near their stomach. And what did you say again? I apologize.
I can't remember what I said.
Oh no, that's right. You said you have a meeting with Tark.
Yeah.
And he's like, if you had a meeting with Tark, I think Tark would know. And Tark ain't saying shit. So get out.
I have free will. I will not leave until I speak to Tark. If you, and she looks at both of the two of them, would like to do combat, I will let you know in advance. You have a 1% chance of defeating me.
So he
I'm trying to intimidate them. I don't know.
No. Yeah. So intimidation is going to be. Is there an intimidate? I forget specifically if there's an intimidate roll. I don't think there's actually intimidate.
I have coercion.
I think coercion is what you're going to be rolling.
I'm trying to think of what else I would use.
It's not deception. It's not
deception. I'm not trying to deceive them.
Yeah. Not negotiation, really. You're not trying to negotiate.
Not negotiating, yeah.
No, it's just going to be a deception roll. I mean, not a coercion roll, rather. I apologize. Okay. And it's going to be a little bit of a tougher one.
Okay.
because these guys deal with kind of punks all the time. Go right ahead. Done.
All right. Here we go. Let's see how it goes. Oh, I take a strain. I'll just take the strain.
Yep, no problem. So you take one strain. That's really nothing. So you make the threat.
I'm really lucky.
And the bartender actually glances back over to Tark. Tark makes a gesture. He kind of points to the bartender, the two at the table, and he kind of gestures like in a sweeping motion to you. But to the three next to him, he just kind of puts his hands out like, don't move. And they shrug, and the roll initiative. Combat begins.
Yes. I'm all for this. All right.
Let me make sure I've got the right things.
Where's my cooligan? Oh.
Oh, wrong button.
No,
there we go. That's what I'm looking for. Perfect.
Oh. It keeps like closing some of the things. Like the initiative one closes and it's in such a weird spot. You can't see it. It's so annoying.
Let me clear. Hang on. Okay.
Oh.
You rolled 0 and 0. That's fine. I can delete the rest. That stays.
Okay.
All right. And they're just going to get one because they're going to act as one group. And their cool is not that great either. But they rolled
that dark
nicely.
side point.
Oh, I will. Don't you worry. We're going to get to that here in a minute.
You don't want to use it for your initiative?
No, come on now. Wow. So, instantaneously, combat blasts out. Tark clearly makes some gestures, like I said to you. The two pull their pistols, and the guy at the side also pulls his. And they all fire at you simultaneously. They're really close to you, so it's going to be very easy for them to hit you, or at least it's going to be less difficult. And they're going to fire now. Oh, shoot.
Oh, Triumph. Damn.
Wow. So Triumph is crit. It goes to crit. They're going to get a crit roll on you. That is... But they don't get any bonuses to it, unlike you, which gets ridiculous bonuses.
Well, you don't like... They don't get 50 bonus?
No, they surprisingly don't get a plus 50 to their D100 roll. I know, that's really weird, but that's fine. A 61. Wow, that was a good roll. Slight daze. The target is disoriented until the end of the encounter. I don't even know what that means. Let's look up disoriented real quick.
Does not sound good, whatever it is.
Disoriented. Quality. Page 156. No, 100 isn't an instant kill. 151 is an instant kill.
I've yet to roll that yet.
No, that's still... Even with their bonuses, that's not exactly...
The most I've rolled so far is 112. We're close. We're in there, boys.
For this encounter, every roll you make is going to get one black die added to it. That's what it's going to do.
Are you fucking kidding me?
That's what disoriented does.
Damn.
And you're also going to take the 6, and you have a 2 soak. I'm going to factor in the 2 soak. 6, 5, 4. You're going to take 4 damage total.
All right.
So they pull including the bartender pulls his pistols on you, and they all fire at you, and they hit. They do surprisingly better than you expected them to. But it goes to you after that. You're in engaged range. The room is so small that you don't have to use a maneuver to get in their face. You're within engaged range. You're welcome to just immediately start opening up on them.
I will open up on them.
Go. You're welcome to do so.
We'll see how successful I am, and then I can describe what I do or don't do.
So, the black die is already...
you get the black die.
Yep, it's factored in. You're good to go.
All right, here we go.
No, nothing.
Forward, nothing. So, I will get a blue die next time.
Yes. So I imagine what you do is you go for the 2 guys at the table right out the gate because they're the closest technically.
I go for the 2 that are like coming for me right away, and instead of instead of being able to hit them, I block the 1 shot. That's why I take a little bit less damage. Instead of actually using my soak, I hit.
Yep.
I block it with the...
Yep, that makes sense. But as you go to retaliate to them, they quickly kick their chairs at you. Dirty tactics, not something that you usually come across against proper fighters. This is very dirty of them. And it actually knocks you in the elbow, throwing your weapon off balance, just barely. And you miss them within an inch of their skin. If you were a little closer, you would have. And your Volge crashes into the table, cracking the table down the center as the loud crackling of the electricity dissipates in a relatively useless swing. All right, they open fire again on you, and they're going to get a blue die on this one because they got a triumph and an advantage on their last roll, which is nice. And they're going to fire their blaster pistol. And they too are going to miss, handing them a blue die on the next one. So they fire, but now that you kind of have a feel for how they fight and how they kind of dirty in the way they fight, you anticipated a lot of their shots.
Yeah,
and the
I actually
shots,
slouched down and because I'm very flexible.
You are incredibly flexible. So I'm assuming
this leg though is not as good as I thought it was going to be. It needs some WD-40 or something.
That's why you took a hit the last time around.
Yeah,
it's all
totally.
Good. But you kick your leg out, lower yourself to the ground as the bolts go over your head and leave burn marks on the walls on both sides. And you hear them swear at you as they miss. You may make your roll now. So you give yourself a blue die on this one.
It's also been, 20 years since I've had a fight. Good point,
Good.
Soul.
Right.
Soul. All right, I'm gonna make my next. You got your black die set, nothing else, whatever else you need on your end. I have my blue die.
Yep, you're good to go.
And we're gonna roll this again, see what happens. Oh yeah, I slouched down on the ground, and I would like to just cut their legs.
Yeah,
because I'm down by their legs, the two that were in front of me.
So you're going for their legs, the two out in front of you.
8, 9, 10, 11 damage, and 11 then damage. I do have 2 piercing. 2 ranks in piercing.
Varys, he still rolled a crit because the fail knocked out the regular success. The triumph still counts as a success, however. The triumph is a built-in success. Yeah, so you crit, you roll.
Oh, I crit too. Plus 50.
50, 60, so 94.
Mm-hmm.
94 is at the brink. The target suffers 1 strain each time he performs an action. And since they're considered minions, they don't take strain, they take damage. So anytime he does anything, he's taking a point of damage. So
yeah, because it hurts. I just cut their ankles.
So what ends up happening in this quick, swift motion, I imagine as they fire their blasters at you and you kick out your legs and sweep down in one single smooth motion, as you kick down to dodge their blasters, you are already sweeping your vulge at their legs, and you do so easily. And they get taken out completely. And as they land, one cracks his head up against the wall and actually is instantly killed, while the other one falls and right in front of you, and you're able to quickly thrust out your hand, grab his neck, and squeeze and snap, killing him as well, leaving the guy behind the bar panicking and alone to fire at you by himself. Hooray. He fires, and he's not going to have an easy time this time around because he's all fucked up. And he's taking an action, and he's going to take a damage to do it because he's part of the mob group, the minion group, rather. 3, but that gets soaked, and he's gonna. He actually he dies.
He kills himself.
He actually ends up dying. Yeah.
Oh, it ricochets.
Yep. So
can it ricochet? I don't know if lasers can ricochet.
Well, yeah, they definitely can, because at least lightsabers can bounce them back. We know that much. Critical check. Make sure Maggie clears. Oh yeah. Make sure. Yeah, you are. Make sure you clear previous criticals on your character sheet because they're adding up. They're acting as though you were critically the same person. I don't care. That's fine. We'll leave it because it's cooler.
Sorry. How do I clear them? Oh, it says off. No, do I have to just keep turning them off?
You might have to turn it off.
Oh, never mind. I figured it out.
All right,
I got it.
That'll just be for next time. Not a big deal for this one. So this guy fires a shot. He actually hits you and does a little bit of damage. He does a whopping 2 damage after soak is already taken care of. But in the process, his rifle, his pistol was malfunctioning clearly, and it explodes in his face after he fires a shot, and it sends him flying up against the wall. He smashes up against it and lands on the ground, unconscious or dead. You're not sure which. You don't have the time.
That wasn't A New Hope, though. That was later.
For what?
We're way earlier, aren't we?
You are. All you know is that the Empire is around. So the player meta, you're somewhere between episodes 4 and 6. You're not sure where you are in that.
I'm just saying, tech changes as it goes.
Oh, yeah, tech changes as it goes. Correct. Yep. Okay. They are dead, and Tark is still sitting there, with his head on his hands.
So once they're down and there's no one else attacking me,
Nope, the other three are
I
sitting
will
there
continue
still.
moving forward to my mission.
Yep.
Without hesitation. Like as soon as they're down, she goes forward.
Yep, you step forward. Tark
Actually, before she moves forward, she's like on the ground. She finishes the last one. She watches him kill himself and then says, "Make that 0.52% chance," and then puts the weapon back and then walks forward.
So Tark watches you, locked eyes, the entire time. And as you get close, he actually gestures for you to take a seat. And it's a gesture you recognize because Pete did it constantly. He always is gesturing for you to take a seat.
I sit down as Pete always sat down.
Spread legs.
I spread my legs and
slouch.
I sigh.
And you sigh. Tark looks at you as you do that. His face doesn't really change, but you imagine there's some internal dialogue going on. He looks to you and he's like, "So you had a meeting with me. How can I help you?"
I would like for you to remove all. What do we call this? What would she call? Because like what he owes
Debt.
him debt. Yeah. Okay. I would like for you to remove all debt from. And then what's Pete's last name?
He never gave you a last name.
Okay. She just says Pete.
All debt from Pete. I know a lot of Petes. But you're a droid, so I think I know what Pete you're talking about. He owes me a lot of money, though.
Pete would like me to show you what he has done. And I shake my leg and I shake my arm.
So you shake your leg and you shake his arm and he's like, "Did he teach you to dance?"
Has Pete taught me to dance?
No.
Okay, then I find this as a joke and sarcasm because that is what Pete has taught me. And my laugh, she's like, ha 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 ha. That is funny joke. No, I do not know this dance.
So then what did he do? Why is he having you show what? I don't understand. You have to elaborate for me. I know I'm confused.
Sorry, your mind must be small.
He
repaired
he
my
actually
arm
stops you.
and
He's
leg.
like, he actually stops you before you say
She
that.
doesn't stop. She
okay.
just finishes her sentence, even though he's still talking over her. But what does he say?
He says, "Did Pete tell you that? That my mind was small?"
And I guess she hears that at the same time as she's talking
Yeah, of
because
course.
she can function like that. Humans probably can't as much. No, Pete has only said that he wished to pay for the debt, but you have made it harder. I would like for you to remove debt. Pete is good man.
Good a man as he is, he ain't as good as his job as I would have liked. We can fix the debt, though. Just so happens I'm missing a robot. A droid that was supposed to help me guard, and that droid, much like you just did, killed a few of my men. I'll wipe the debt.
I did not
Oh, go ahead.
free will
Free will.
those men. They attacked me first.
They did. That's fine. Regardless, I'm down a droid. So I'll wipe his debt. In return, I'll take you as mine.
I am not to be owned. I have free will.
That can be fixed.
I do not like this fix. This is not a fix that I approve of.
Don't consider it ownership. Consider it employment.
How much do you pay?
I pay in safety. I keep you safe from the scavengers and the Jawas and all the other riffraff around here, and in turn you keep me safe. A little tit
I do not
for
think
tat.
this is fair deal for me. I feel like this deal only benefits you.
No.
At the rate of, she like pauses for a moment. You gain 82% advantage in this deal.
Well, I'm good at math.
I only say that because if there were no Jawas, then perhaps it would be you gain 100% of deal.
Jawas are dangerous, and he laughs. Points. No, no, no. Don't consider it like that. This is a favor for a favor. I leave Pete alone, and you keep me safe for leaving Pete alone. You like Pete, it seems, right? Pete's a good guy.
I do not. I am not. Perhaps.
So, you want Pete to be safe. You work for me, and I leave
I
Pete
can
alone.
keep Pete safe. I am not worried about safety. I am worried about debt.
You plan on living with Pete forever.
I have not made this decision yet. I have free will. I will make decision when I want. I will leave when I want. I have left to find you because I wanted.
And
I have free will.
And what happens when you no longer want to stay here and you leave Pete all alone? How is he safe then?
That is for Pete to know.
So, you stay with me and Pete will be safe forever. Not just until you're
Or
gone.
I can just defeat you.
Now. Let's not get hasty. You really want to...
She stands up and she goes to access her. She doesn't actually go grab her vibro sword yet, or vibro volge yet. She just stands up.
As you stand up, he doesn't, but the other three do as well, and they seem to be reaching for a weapon, all in unison.
And how do these guys look?
Much like the guys behind, they don't look particularly well armed. But Tark holds up his hand. He's like, no. I'd rather not lose 3 more good people. We saw how that fight went down. I'm not stupid. But killing me ain't gonna...
She sits back down in the same manner, exactly the same way, and also sighs again.
Listen. What do I call you?
You may call me Tara.
Tara. That's cute. Pete give you that name?
It does not matter who gives me name.
I don't want to fight, but Pete owes me money. Money that I need. One of his droids caused me a problem. That's on him. Here's what I'll do for you. I'll wipe away half the debt. That should take care of all of the extra I put in there. All the inconvenience fees I tacked on. Cut it in half.
You mean the interest?
That's a word that I might use, sure. But I'll wipe it away. He'll owe me...
I do not feel that this is a fair deal.
No. What would you know about deals, Tara? Have you
A
negotiated?
deal, a favor, is something where one gives something equal to one.
And
1-to-1 ratio.
And
Your ratio is not 1-to-1.
neither was Pete's. Pete gave me a droid that killed 2 of my men. He owes me money for that.
This is understandable.
So we have a deal then.
No. How much debt has Pete paid?
None. 0.
And I don't actually know if Pete has paid anything because he never told me.
Correct.
Damn it, Pete!
He owes me 1,000 credits. Think you can get that out of him for me? Look, how about this? You get that 1,000 credits from Pete, and you can keep 25% of it. A finder's fee.
May I think about this deal and analyze?
How long you need?
Approximately, and she gives off a number of time. The amount of time for her to go speak to Pete and come back. Immediately. A conversation and then come back.
I'll be here until we close tonight, all right?
What time is closing?
What time are you going to be back by?
She repeats the same amount of time.
That's when we close. Right after you come back.
I shall return then.
I'll wait for you.
She just immediately gets up out of the chair and walks away.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that she is going to be very aware of is if anyone is following her.
Okay. Sounds good to me.
A little paranoid.
No, that's fine. We'll have.
But not paranoid in the sense of emotional paranoia. In the sense of she knows that Pete said no one knows where he lives.
Cool.
And
So you're gonna head
she'd like
back.
to keep it that way.
You're gonna head back to Pete's house. Not a problem. I'm gonna have you roll a planetary, piloting planetary, to get back. Really easy.
Oh no.
So let's have you roll that first.
Okay, piloting planetary.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I do. This doesn't actually count, actually, because that forward was in, or that advantage was in that combat situation. So
Correct.
that is not one.
Yep.
And you no longer have a black die on me.
Nope.
So you've removed that.
Yep.
Okay, cool. And I will roll my planetary then. Fail. Oh no.
You get lost for a while. You eventually find your way back, but it wasn't nearly as fast as you were going to initially. Like, what was going to be like just a 2-hour ride turns into a 4-hour ride as a small sandstorm kicks up on your way back, hampering your sensors and not able to figure out where it is that you're going. I also want you to make me, because of the failure, I want you to go ahead and make me a perception check as well.
Oh, they tracked me, didn't they? What do I roll for perception?
It's a perception skill.
Okay, cool. I am not very perceptive.
Oh, that's not good.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
I do not see what's coming. Oh, shit.
Perfect. So eventually the sandstorm subsides and you're able to figure out where you are and get back on the road. Or get back on track, rather. It's not really a road where he is.
Is this all a plan to make them think that this is where I'm going?
And you eventually find your way back to the warehouse. As you pull up, you actually see Pete's ass hanging out of the tent as he's like rummaging for something. He's like on his knees, and he's clearly looking like he's rummaging through his tent for something. As the speeder rips up loudly, and he jumps and he like scrambles out of the tent, and sees you, and then sighs. Oh, Tara, everything taken care of?
I have one question, and then I shall return.
Sure. What's up?
How much have you paid them so far?
Nothing. I don't have that money.
Then it is fair. You owe them.
No, it's not fair. I warned him. I told him the droid wasn't in working order, and he took it anyway. I told him that it might malfunction, and he decided to take it anyway. That's not on me. Don't tell me.
Did you tell her this? Because I totally forgot.
Yes, he did actually
I
say
would have
this.
known that then. I feel bad because then I wouldn't have come back.
That's fine.
I would have argued more.
He quickly scampers up to you. He's like, did they tamper with you? Are you okay? Are you working for them?
I have not been tampered with that I know of.
Okay, good. Well, I mean, that's fine. I can do a quick diagnostic checks on you if you'd like. Well, what's going on? What do you, why do I owe him? What happened? Talk to me. Walk me through it. What happened, Tara?
She goes through she accepts the diagnosis, and while he's doing it, she explains what happened.
So he actually ushers you back into the warehouse and puts you back up on the work table, like where he usually sits you, and you're just going through the diagnosis. And it's like 30 minutes of it doing it. So during that time, you go through it.
Yeah, she tells him everything, and then at the end, she says, "I can get it."
As you're telling the story, he's like, "Whoa, you killed 3 people that fast? Good lord!" And he's like, "I did do good work." And then go ahead. What were you gonna say?
She says, "I can make it so that you no longer owe interest, but you must still pay the 1,000 credit."
He like bobs his head back and forth. He's like, I mean, I could do the 1,000 credits.
Wait, what is the? And he said I would take 20% of that, so only 800 credits.
No, you take 25% of that.
Oh, so
of the 1,000 credits that you owe.
50 credits.
So you would get 225 of the 1,000.
Okay.
If he's like, so he kind of bobs his head back and forth. And he's like, oh, God, I mean, I can get the money.
No, then
for you.
she only says 775.
Okay. Oh, okay, gotcha. And he's like, I can get it, but that's gonna take time. I don't really have the money right now. I mean, you could remove him. He says, kind of like looking up at you a little weirdly, but then it's like, no. All right, no, you're right. I can pay him. Even though I warned him, I can pay him. Fine.
Yeah, I thought 25% would be 750.
Wait.
Because that'd be 250.
25% of 1,000? Is it 250? Yeah, 250. Sorry.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, 250.
Okay.
I'm dumb. Math is not my strong suit.
Math is old man. Okay. I'm like, am I doing math wrong? I don't
No,
know.
no, I'm doing the math wrong. He again, he's like, I can do it, but
Um,
it's gonna take time. I don't have the money
she
now.
looks around at all the stuff that's in his storage place, and she's like, "Do these not
I mean,
sell for credit?"
I could. And he looks a little reluctant, but I don't really want to. But I mean, I could. It's just, it's really all I got, so I have. But yeah, I could sell them. I could set up a stand on the street in town and hawk them for some cash. I'm sure I could do it. That's fine. Can you make me a perception check, please?
Oh no. Yeah, I can make you a real bad perception test right about now. I'm gonna take this train.
No problem. Not a problem at all. So he's talking and he's going through like I could sell maybe this crate and stuff. There's something in there. I don't really need this either. I could do something with that as well. I don't know. Is he
Is this deal then? I must return.
Did he? As he was actually gonna. He actually asked, like, "Are you? Is he expecting you?"
Yes, I am. And she says approximately how much time she is late.
Okay. As you're telling him, all of a sudden you hear something. You hear, dink, 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 dink.
Okay. It's
And
an
then-
explosion.
And then there's a large explosion.
Yeah, I knew it.
Boom! Frag grenade goes off. Let's do some damage, shall we? If only. Let's see. It's gonna be 3 difficulty because they threw it from relatively far away. They got to they snuck the door open, but they underhanded it, so it's not gonna be much.
I hear and I say,
Failure.
"Did you
right.
hear?" And then
Yeah, yeah. So you hear tink, 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 and you say, "Did you hear?" And then, boom! Now the explosion missed you completely. Didn't do any damage to you at all. However, there's a ton of smoke. Shrapnel goes flying as it explodes a few of the crates nearby, and pieces of different droids and stuff get thrown around the room. And you may roll initiative. Let's clear out this
All right.
and
I
this.
will roll my initiative. I don't have any dice. Okay. Here we go.
Sweet.
Yeah. One advantage. And as I am holding my arm in front of Pete, she looks at him and says, "I do not think they will be worth that much." And she pulls because she took the time to talk to him, and then she pulls out her.
As you actually look over to Pete and talk to him, you see him on the floor bleeding with things jut into him. And a quick scan, you're not sure if he's alive or dead, but as you learn to talk to him, he's his eyes are squint shut and he's bleeding everywhere.
Okay.
All right. We got a couple of NPCs first. They're poking through the door, using the door as cover, and they're gonna fire at the 2 people are gonna fire at you, relatively easily. First shot. It's a blaster rifle. Okay, he misses completely. Next shot. They do 4, 5, soak, 3 damage. He hits you for 3. And all of a sudden, as the smoke clears and as you look back to talk to Pete, that's when the blaster shots fire and you hear the blasters come through the door. One goes whizzing by you over your shoulder, past you, and hits a crate over the other way, actually hitting the crate and opening a huge gaping hole in it. And the other one hits you in your other shoulder, though, sending you a step forward, doing 3 damage to you. It is now your turn, and as you turn to see the door, you saw 2 people peeking in. You easily can get there in 1 maneuver.
Is there anything I can put between them and Pete?
Yeah, there's a bunch of crates that you can easily pick up and move.
I would like to do that.
Yep. All right, so you're going to use your maneuver then, instead of getting up to them, your first maneuver rather, to just take a bunch of crates, and I'm assuming you just pull them down and dump a bunch of stuff in front of him for him to have cover on.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's fine. You look quickly, scan the area. There's a bunch of crates piled up as he tends to, and just reaches up and you just yank, 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 and you just topple a bunch of stuff, and he is completely covered. Not like with stuff, but like he's covered from the door. They can't, as far as you can tell, can't be seen.
Okay.
And you can use your other maneuver to get up to them if you'd like, but then you won't have an attack. That'll be your 2 maneuvers.
Can I take a defensive action and also use cover?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. That is what I'll do.
That'll make it harder for them to hit. You know what? I didn't realize we hit 11 o'clock. Let's take our last break for the night as we move into the last bit here in a minute. I just wanted to go to the bathroom and grab a
Time
drink.
flies when you're having fun.
Always. We'll be back, guys, in just a few minutes. Grab a drink. We'll be right back. All right, everybody, welcome back to the last part. I hesitate to say the last hour because I don't know if it's going to be an hour. But welcome to the last
Sorry.
bit.
He was like, it's only going to be 2 hours.
Oh no, I'm totally fine. The whole Pete thing is going. It went and is going a way I didn't expect, which I prefer. I prefer.
I think it's really cute. He's like teaching her humanity, which is
it's like a Pinocchio and Geppetto situation in a weird way.
Yeah.
I like it.
I kind of liked it too. I was like, well, how would a droid act like this? Especially one who's like only done combat for her entire life. Like,
Yeah.
it's an interesting concept. It's kind of fun to play with. I like it.
Yeah, I'm having fun watching you kind of just.
And the scene with the boss guy.
Yep, that was really good. The way you sat down, man spreading essentially. It's so good.
The joke part too, because I was like, is that not right?
No, yeah, you got that.
I liked it.
It was good. It's been fun because, like I said, this is going a totally different way than I expected it to, and going longer than I expected it to with Pete. But that's fine actually because Pete's become an interesting character that I really like.
I like if everyone thinks that he spits though.
I know.
They're like, no.
I know. But it's funny.
Secret identity.
I mean, who knows? But it's funny because like the Scott one-off I did last week too was the same way. Did not go remotely how I expected it to, and went longer than I expected it to. But
You have
it
two
made
people who like really get in characters.
yeah,
so
and it's made it way more fun. Like it makes it way more fun than just being like, okay, you know, ABC, we're done. The end. Anyway, so it ended with we left off really quickly with you pulling the crates down to create cover for Pete, who's on the ground bleeding out at the very least. From shrapnel and the like, which leads to the next NPC. And actually, the next NPC you actually do not see, you actually hear shouting from the outside. And he says, "Lay down your weapons and step outside. The deal can still be on the table. We take the droid, and we'll let Pete live. We'll even get him some medical attention if he got hurt from that grenade."
Ooh, that's an interesting thing.
I warn you, we ain't gonna go down as easy as the others did.
Oh, so I can't see anybody, right?
No, you can't see anybody. The only time you got a glimpse is when they peeked in to take shots at you.
Yeah, so she has no concept of how many voices have I heard so far?
Just the one.
Just the one. So no concept of how many people are out there.
Correct.
Or what my probability of winning is.
Right.
Um,
They did a breach and clear maneuver, and that's about it.
Can she go forward towards them, but without dropping her weapon? She only has one weapon.
Is that what you intend to do? Because it's not your turn. It'll go right back to the next NPC after. But I'm curious what your plan is. Are you going to talk back or anything?
Yeah. The plan is to talk back, but she wants to analyze her situation first before she makes...
All right, so your plan is to step forward then. Basically, the other two NPCs are going to hold their turn until you act. So on your turn, do you plan on taking a step forward? Is that the plan?
Yeah.
Okay. You with weapon in hand?
Weapon in hand, but not in a manner that she's going to attack.
Okay. You'll take a step forward, and as soon as you take a step forward, you see a couple of guns trained on you from the same two people before as they peek around. And they're like, you heard him. Weapon on the ground. They look in, and they kind of trying to look around like, is Pete alive?
She looks over and she says, "I will not drop my weapon until you drop your weapon."
That's not how this is going to work.
Well, this is not how this is going to work then.
Let me ask you something, droid. You know how to do any medical procedures?
I may have some.
Enough to save Pete?
You do not know of Pete's critical status.
No. If we're lucky, he's dead and we don't have to worry about him. We can just sell all the shit in this warehouse. And, oh boy, he's got a lot of shit. Make our money back that way.
Pete has already planned to pay you back.
Not in the way that boss wants. So we're going to go about this the more violent way then?
It appears that we cannot agree.
Listen, you come work for us and Pete can be safe. It's very simple. Tark likes you. He likes you more than credits. He wants you.
I do not want to be ownership. I do not want to be had.
Have your way then, droid.
You would
Okay.
not either. But in this case, I will make that an exception. And she's going to rush forward.
Okay. You can use your maneuver to get right up in their face, and then you can attack one of them.
Okay.
Let me make sure we set up the difficulty here. This, as you like sprint forward, ready to fight, you get a better look at them, especially when you get close and you can like step outside and actually fight them. They are armored up. They look prepared. They're not carrying pistols, they're carrying rifles. They have some sort of armor. It looks a little ragtag and kind of piecemeal.
Is it metal?
It is a partially stormtrooper armor. Some of it's metallic, and some of it's just padded, but it's armor as ragtag as it is. Yeah, you do. You do. We'll see. We'll see if we do anything with that. Maybe it'll give you like a blue dice or something. But they do look prepared to fight. So it's not going to be as easy as it normally would, though it's still not super difficult to hit him.
I would like to rush up to this guy, and I don't plan on killing this guy in particular. I
Okay.
want to kill all the rest of them, but him in particular, I would like to keep alive.
The guy who was talking?
Yeah.
The one that was... so there were two that talked. The one beyond the door that you heard, and then the person who was negotiating with you personally
The one that was
door.
negotiating with me personally.
Sure. So you want to attack the one that was on the other side of the door then? The one that wasn't negotiating?
No, I want to attack the guy who's negotiating with me.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to kill him. I just want to, I don't know.
I know you want to try and like pull back a little bit. That's
like,
fine.
Knock him out or something.
I am going to go ahead and also use a dark side point on your swing.
I have plans with him now.
And I'm going to upgrade one of my dice.
Oh, shit.
That you're going to have to hit. So let's go ahead and do an upgrade. And I think that's going to work the way I want it to. So you may go ahead and make your attack on this particular person when ready.
Okay. I don't get any dice on him, right?
No bonus dice, no.
Okay.
Oh my god!
What? Yes. Oh my god, yes.
Roll your critical.
5.
Roll your critical. Good god.
I don't want to kill him, though.
So you're doing 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, but you're purposely holding back so you won't do lethal, basically.
Yeah, I don't want to kill him.
Clear that. You rolled previous criticals 4 times 10, so it needs to be a little higher. I mean, it needs to be fresh.
I removed all the criticals on here.
Weird, it's still stuck. You can roll just a flat D100 if you want. That's fine, too.
Let me, like, close this and maybe open it.
Maybe.
Let's see. Critical sheet. No, it's...
No, still sticking. That's fine. Just
Oh, what's
roll.
weird is, like, I remove it completely. Like, there's no critical injuries on my list. Like, look at my sheet.
I believe you.
How do we get rid of it?
I have no idea, man.
There's critical roll offset. Do I just put 0 maybe in both of these slots?
Oh, yeah, just look at the dice roll for what she rolled.
Let's...
Oh, yeah, you rolled an 81 on the first dice roll, so we might as well just take the dice roll.
Oh,
Flat
yeah, we
dice
can do
roll.
that.
80,
I
90,
just
100.
want to do this as a test. Don't look at this.
Yeah,
number.
that's fine.
No, it's still...
90, 100, 10, 20, 30, 131 is what you rolled on this guy.
Oh, man.
Good God. So you got bleeding out. Every round, the target suffers 1 wound and 1 strain at the beginning of his turn. For every 5 wounds he suffers beyond his wound threshold, he suffers 1 additional critical injury roll from the chart, suffering the injury. Okay, he's down. You will say that you held back, and you're not doing a... Why is she rolling a critical? It's her spec, it's her talents, and the her weapon thing. What do you call it? What do you call it?
My Volge?
Yeah, your Volge, but the statuses you have on it, like.
Oh yeah, I have Pierce 2, Sunder, and Vicious 4.
Yeah, she has a bunch of stuff.
It's also a serrated edge.
Yeah, she's serrated edge, and she also talented into like every time she crits, she does like a ridiculous different adds on a ridiculous amount of numbers to her roll. And again, if we're doing it wrong, we'll make sure we fix it for the next go. But for now, it's not a big deal. So go ahead and describe your attack to the point where he's debilitated but not dead and still awake.
Ooh. Well, I want him to be unconscious. I just want to knock him out.
Easily. That's fine too.
Okay.
You
I want this to be like so easy. Like it's not an eventful thing.
No,
it's
that's
literally
fine.
instead of taking like the electric end of it, she just like hits him with the other end of it and like knocks him unconscious.
So, but yeah, you run up and you see all this armor, and he's clearly prepared for battle, but his jaw's open and he's not guarding it. So you just like whack, and he just falls to the ground unconscious instantly. As you actually now that you breach the door though and see everything, there's the two people at the door, the one that was negotiating that you just knocked out, the other one on the other side that you can engage here in a second, and beyond there's one man in the back who's clearly in charge and 4 in front of him with rifles aimed at you. And we're gonna get to that here in a second. Okay, so you attacked, so it goes to the next NPC. The next NPC is, we're actually gonna delete him because he is unconscious. Then the other NPCs, so we'll start firing away. The guy right next to you backs up, puts himself within short distance of you, by using one maneuver, and fires off his rifle at you. 4 minus 2, so you take 3 damage. And then the minions all attack at you as well.
Oh yeah, I like the idea. He bit his tongue.
He bit his tongue.
Instead of bleeding out, he just bit his tongue.
Yeah, still not 37 stormtroopers, but she's been out of commission for 10 years and has some replacement parts. She's still not in top notch. She has 17 HP, which is a ridiculous amount in this system. Fire again.
I went a little min-maxy.
You did min-max. It's all right though. And then you take an additional. So you took on that one 3. You take 4 on this one after your soak. So
okay.
You took actually 7. But that you took 7 damage with 5 people shooting at you basically.
That's a lot. Though.
Blasters fire at you, whatnot. And then the guy in the way back on his turn, he shouts like, again, it's very simple. Hand yourself over. And Pete can live. Goes to you.
Can I tell what tone this voice is using?
You can make a roll. The roll would be,
like, would he kill Pete either way?
I know. Yeah, I know what you're getting at. I wonder what the roll would be. Discipline? No. Negotiation? Nah. Maybe perception? I don't think it would be perception, but that might be the only one that makes sense looking at the skills.
Yeah, it'd be like he rolls deception.
If he's lying.
Trying to deceive me.
Mm-hmm. Against maybe your perception or something, because that's like a cunning.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Skullduggery? What is like?
Skullduggery is like
That's more of like I'm trying to.
I think that's like dealing with like black market stuff.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say you go ahead and make a perception check.
Yeah, I'm really bad at these. No matter what, it's gonna be bad because I'm not good at cunning stuff. I just, Yeah. She analyzes the voice pattern.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, no.
So you can't tell.
She analyzes the voice pattern. It comes back as like
neutral. You're not
neutral
sure.
Or something. Yeah.
You could be lying. You could be telling the truth.
Yeah. Undetermined. Voice rhythm. Voice pattern. And then she rushes forward.
All right. To the guy at the door right next to you. Close distance to take him out.
Yeah, whoever's closest to me.
All right. You may, let me just adjust. You may make your attack.
All right. The things that I'm better at. Let's see if I can actually hit. So, is this person wearing metal?
They are also relatively decked out in armor with some metal bits.
All right, let's see. I will roll. Yeah, baby.
You do so much. I am not used to how much damage you do. I gotta prep for that. Okay.
7.
You may
8,
roll
9, 10.
you may roll your critical.
All right. We'll roll it and we just have to look at the roll.
Yeah.
Which is 74 plus 50.
Is 121? So I'll be 124, right? 24, 80,
124.
90, 100, 10, 20. 124, yep. Knocked senseless. The target is staggered for the remainder of the encounter.
For the whole encounter, what is staggered?
I am going to get the rules right now.
All of these things sound terrible.
Yeah, because you're really far down the list, so you're getting the good shit. Staggered, page 218. Staggered. A staggered character cannot perform actions, including downgrading actions to maneuvers. Most effects that staggered character last for this duration. If a set duration is not specified, the staggered effect lasts to the end of the character's next turn. This character is staggered multiple times. Each instance increases the total duration. So he can't do anything. He literally cannot do anything for the whole encounter. He can't do anything.
That is ridiculous. That's crazy.
He's conscious.
It is close to almost full, like, killing somebody, though.
So once again, you turn around and you crack this guy also in the jaw because why aren't they wearing a helmet? What is going on? I don't understand. He's still conscious, but he's not. He's like dazed and confused, and he kind of falls back on his ass and drops his gun. And he's like, "Oh, what? And that's it. And then that's all he's saying. And he's down. Good God, damn you.
That's so funny.
God. The group of four in the distance.
Interesting build. We haven't had like a character play a build like this at all.
Yeah, even when Jesse was playing his Wookiee, he wasn't like built like for this.
He had a different build.
He was more like
also powerful.
He was very fisticuffs, like hand to hand, but you have a weapon that changes everything. All right.
Still have more money.
Yes, it's true. Okay, these guys are gonna they're gonna fire off at you. There it is. Oh shit. Oh shit, son.
I think I'm going down right here. I think I'm getting rebooted.
Okay,
or shut down forever.
We're gonna roll crit here in a second, but first I'm gonna add up the damage.
We'll do the damage first because you might just straight up
4 minus 2 is 2, so 4, 5. Just straight 5, I think, is all you're taking here.
Yeah, I'm down.
Really, you're at 17 already?
I'm over 17, so I don't know if anything else comes into play.
No, death. You would technically take a critical.
Strain and.
How did you get to 17 so fast? Because I hit you for 7 plus what? Oh, I must have.
7, and then there was 7 again from the group, and then this. So I was at 14 when we started.
I rolled a 2. You suffer 1 extra strain. That's your critical. That was what I rolled for a critical on you. You suffer
1 extra strain every time?
You just get a strain. That was literally what I rolled.
That's all?
That's it.
All right,
I rolled a 2. So the guy in the background with the 4 in front of him shakes his head, and he just motions to them to fire, and they all unload on you. Blaster shots hit you, and again, you're meant to take these kinds of this kind of fight, no problem. But you're still. It's been over a decade, and since you've really been in a fight, and while that doesn't seem like a lot for a droid, with new parts and new systems, you're just not used to this yet. It's been a long time. Your lights blink on and off very quickly as you're getting kind of shot.
Failure imminent.
And
shutdown activated. Protocol.
And your hands loosen. Your weapon plops onto the sand, kicks up a little bit of sand as it lands, and you go down onto your knees and kind of go into and then fall forward with a very heavy thud. And
no! Someone just said I lost my free will. Yeah, because if they reinstall it on me, oh no!
They might. And as you see the ground come up to meet you, right before your lights go out, right before you hit the ground, you black out, and that's where we'll cut the episode.
This is the shortest part.
That was. Hey.
I think you were expecting. I actually thought about it, and I was like, the reason why, as soon as I did my action, I was like, oh, I'm going down this round. It was because I realized I forgot I was going to repair. Because I was like, oh, I'm going to repair. But then you caught me off guard with that conversation with that guy.
Oh,
the human in me was all like, you're not being smart. Whereas the robot in me would have been like, oh, you're at critical heal, which was what I did last time. I gave myself like a critical wound threshold.
It's also like at the same time you think like Tara's not used to being able to have the opportunity to make choices. So having like all these choices and free wills,
even though her system is telling her that she's near critical failure, she's like, "No, I'll do what I want." Ooh, I like that.
Yep, it's a little bit new and exciting.
I love her just riding the bike, being like, "Free will."
I love that scene in my head. You're riding past these dewback herders or something, and they're like, "Slow down." No, that was good. All right. Well, that went wildly different than I expected it to.
It was fun, though.
In a way that I almost all of that was out of my asshole. So if that wasn't already obvious, but that was really really fun. I fucking love Tara. I really really like her a lot, and I'm really
fun.
excited to explore her in a situation where she has a party to play with, and she has to make friends with people or work with people. Because
What are friends?
yeah,
What is this word, friend?
What is friend?
I don't know. Did he teach? Because he only had a week with her, so it's like how many? He didn't really teach her that much.
But you have to keep in mind
like,
too. Through that week, literally he's with you until he wakes up, until he goes to bed. He never
but he's
leaves.
just
He doesn't go
working
into
on
town. He's working on stuff, but he's mostly working on you, and he's talking to you the whole time.
That's true.
But what happens to Pete,
actually,
we don't
it would
know
make
yet.
a lot of sense if she comes back and she doesn't have free will, because I think one of the motivations I have is freedom.
That's true.
Yeah.
That would be fun. We can.
Because then
I
she's
can work.
tasted freedom before, but then she doesn't have it.
Oh, that's so good. I like it. Well, I'm gonna mess with that because I have some ideas. Also, chat. There was definitely some rules kind of jumbled.
I put in there. I put being shut down and rebooted nonstop has taken a toll on Tara. She was found, or she has found a flaw in the system. If she is no longer a possession, maybe she can be free to follow her own duties.
You
So
were
it's like
free.
she knows that it's in the system. Like maybe Pete put something in there. So if she was
Maybe.
ever reactivated,
We'll
that'd
see.
be sick.
We'll see. I have a lot of ideas. I know there were some rules hiccups along the way, guys. It's part of kind of. Oh, Scott pointed out last
They
time.
want to know if she was supposed to kill everyone. I was supposed to get shut down some way, one way or another.
Yeah, I had a more peaceful way in mind. That was going to happen. It didn't have anything to do with this crime group or anything, but
What did you have planned that didn't happen?
there was actually a whole nother flashback I was going to get to. I was going to flash forward again after this was all said and done, but the you and Pete thing kind of flourished in a way I didn't expect it to, and I just ran with it because it was a lot of fun. And again, like I said, I know there were some rules hiccups. Again, since this is the first time we're playing Star Wars in a year, and the last time we played Star Wars was our first time playing this rule system, so there's a little hiccups here and there.
and I think you might have spelled my name wrong because everyone keeps spelling it wrong in chat, so I'm assuming it says it somewhere.
I
it
don't
says
think
it in the
so.
title only, right?
Yeah, I just said, I think I put T. Did I put A? I might have put A.
You
I
put A,
did
it's
put A.
before.
I'm dumb.
Because people were asking if it was one way or the other, and then they're like, "Oh," because I said it out loud later.
I don't really want to spoil what was supposed to happen because, like, it's like
Aw.
I think what happened couldn't have gone any better than what we got. The idea was there was going to be 3 main flashbacks. The first one where we kind of just get a taste of how effective Tara is in combat and what she might have been like dealing with in the war. That was her just wiping out a bunch of clone troopers really, really quickly on Geonosis. The second one was an awakening after the war ended and kind of being reacclimated to the world and seeing what it would be like for her to deal with somebody one-on-one in a non-combative situation. And then the next one I was going to flash forward to, all right, Tara has been around for a while now. What is she doing? Is she a bounty hunter? Is she a mercenary for hire now that she has free will? And I was going to go for a job there that might have led to you being shut down or not. I mean, you being shut down was not set in stone.
Well,
for
I think
me.
we both agreed that that would
have been the best ending.
That would be the best way to end it
Yeah.
for me to show up in the
Yeah.
Because we have a plan, but
Yep.
now this changes everything because she still doesn't know much about the world, which I
Yes.
think is kind of cool.
I like it a
Whereas
lot.
like the other way around, we were going to be like, oh, she's had a job and she's had
She's been around
had
for a
this
little
free will
while.
For a little while.
Yeah, exactly.
I actually kind of like it though. It'll make the interactions with people kind of a lot more like, maybe not as silly as Pete, but maybe.
Yeah. No, the Pete thing was perfect though. Like, I fucking loved it. So thank you, Maggie. That was a lot of fun.
It was so much fun for me. It's interesting to come into a situation where like you're a android that like only kills things, and then you're getting reprogrammed, right?
Yeah, exactly. Man, where you and Scott ended up, phenomenal. I'm really excited.
I didn't watch the end of his yet because I was like, I don't want to know.
Okay, you don't want to know, then I won't say
Yeah,
anything.
I watched a little bit of the front because I was like,
Yeah.
okay.
That I won't tell you. And then
I just
now
wanted to get a feel for his character.
Yeah, and now we don't know where we're in the mystery of Pete and what ends up happening to him, and how long is it going to be until you get reactivated? How many years?
Oh,
remember,
yeah.
the game is taking place like 15 to 20 years after the end of episode 6. And right now, where you get shut down.
Well, I'm like supposed to be 40 when we get back into it. So if that was 20 years, so 20 years are going to pass.
Yeah, 20 years are going to pass, and we can talk about what happens, whether you don't even ever get reactivated, which is very possible. Oh my God,
I have like this pattern of every 20 years.
That'd be hilarious. That was fun, Maggie. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. And again, thank you guys for being patient with me. I'm still a slightly new GM, and by slightly I mean pretty new, and by pretty I mean very new. And it's with a rule system that I'm still learning.
You do such a good job, though. Like even my first episode with you ever GMing for Vampire, which I'm sad about.
Me too.
Was really, really fun for me, and I was like, "Ooh, I love that," and I really loved that character. I love all the characters. I think it's just I get so into it, and it's a lot of fun.
The Vampire, I was excited to take that to the end, but maybe we'll revisit it and finish it because we only have a few episodes to go. Yeah, I really like the storytelling aspect of being a GM. It's just the rules aspect.
I'm a huge fan, and I think like these prequel things, like even when we did them with Delric, when Gromman did his one-on-one, like at the end of Gromman's, like I was almost in tears. Like that's how emotional it was. And I think when you have this one-on-one interaction, it's a lot more focus on your character. Whereas I think that I'm usually in a situation where I'm with like 4 other people, right?
Right, yeah.
And so you want to give everyone else their time, so you'll just be quiet and let them do their thing. And your character sits back a little bit. And I think that you don't get to explore your character as much as when it's like a one-on-one situation where it's like all focused on that, which is really cool.
Yeah, I really like doing it too because outside of that, like I get a really good feel for your character. I know how, like you get a little bit of a couple hours to figure out how you want to play the character, and that informs me as a GM, like, okay, here's how I can mess with her, or how to present a good challenge.
He went for that in that order.
Yeah.
How can I mess with you?
Yeah, more or less. I'm excited to. I think the way I'm gonna have to, because you're gonna be an absolute monster in melee. Melee is going to be. You're going to wipe the floor with anybody. I'm going to have to figure out, like, I might have to use, like, a nemesis.
Yeah, but I feel like most people, I think that was one of the things that we had a discussion with when we were doing character creation was that my character is so melee bound that, like...
Range is going to be a problem.
Range is going to be the worst problem for me.
Yeah, and we saw that.
Yeah. So
like the reason you were able to take out the clone troopers because they surrounded you in a relatively close area, so you're able to be like boom, dash back and forth, and just
I think the option for me in that case is the shield. I need to get like a kind of like magic, not magic, but you know, like
or Tara learns that she's not perfect and she has to rely on her friends to help fill in her weaknesses.
Yeah, if she ever discovers what the word friend means.
Very true.
Although I think she kind of is getting that because she sees in the sense of now, at least depending on how she gets rebooted, I think that at this current moment, she sees friend as ally. So if someone were to explain the word friend to her, it would be like, oh, you're not an enemy, you're an ally. You're not neutral, right? You're either neutral, enemy, or ally in her mindset. Like that's how when she initiates conversation with you, that is how she sees you.
Yep. Yeah. I like it. I like Tara a lot. I'm excited. I'm very, very excited. All right, we're gonna wrap this up. Thank you very much, Maggie. Tomorrow we're doing something tomorrow, whether it's just me and Scott or me and Sam doing character building. We'll see. Sam, I love Sam to death, but dude, he is hard to get a hold of sometimes.
He's in Monster Hunter World.
I know,
I think
lost.
He's like over 40, rank 40 now, right?
Sure.
Like I don't even know what he's at now. He's insane.
Yeah, it's crazy. But hopefully we'll be doing character building with him tomorrow if we can get a hold of him. For all those VOD boys.
What he's gonna play. So what do we have in our party so far?
We have a pilot and we have you. That's it.
So pilot and a killing machine.
And a killing machine. Yep. And the pilot
and
neither one of you are good at talking to people, really.
No, so we definitely need somebody who.
So we'll see. We'll see.
Actually, I think Sam would play a really good charismatic character because he himself is kind of pretty charismatic.
Yeah, I think he would be too.
In a sassy way.
And then when we figure out who the 4th member is, we'll let you know.
Yeah, that's true. He could play a different role, and someone else could play that role.
Yeah. So
I'm excited. Splat to do it. He would be good with a charismatic character.
I asked Splat if he was down to do like a long-term thing, and he's not into it right now.
Oh yeah, I know. He for Roll 4, he said the same thing. He doesn't want to do a long-term thing.
Yeah.
So.
Which is, I understand completely.
Yeah, so. It's a lot of commitment.
Yeah,
I know.
Sure,
I'm not in like 4.
Yeah, you're not like 7 different fucking tables. They were crazy. For those who want the VODs, if you're a subscriber, immediately afterwards, you can go check our VODs right now. If you're not, they'll be up on the separate Lost Initiative YouTube channel that's up and running now. There's a link below. You can go check that. We'll be putting them up there. That's it. Thank you guys so much. Thank you so much, Maggie, again. It's been super fun. I'm excited to see you in action with a party. We'll be back tomorrow night with something, and we'll see you then. Bye-bye.